Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting-edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed a thing. Can I get a wee audio check in the chat, please? I'll say some hellos to those people that got here early. There's Sanson's in. What about you, chum? I got to see some of your stream earlier on, but not all of it. I was a bit on the busy side. Steve Cray, what about you, chum? Edmund, nice to see you here. Steve Cray, audio good one. Roy Herbert, audio sound, all good. XM Fecky, what about you? Ragnar Arnspear. October, what about you, chum? If I say hello to anybody twice here, sorry, but I'm trying to not miss anybody. Here we go. Audio's good. So we'll get through the John Davidson. Evening, sir. Glad to see you. Get through a bit of the housekeeping. For those of you that came from Sanson's chain, a very warm welcome. And if you, for some unknown reason, weren't in Sanson's stream earlier on a Saturday evening, if you like what I'm doing, you'll like what he's doing and what he normally does with Bonnie Ladd on a Sunday evening. So try and catch that as well. Tomorrow evening, Ragnar, drop us a note in the chat. I believe you're streaming. I'm not sure what time and who you have on. I think Jack's back, but not 100% sure. And I believe Sansom and DJ Resisting the Lies are going to be on following that. And coming up next week, which I might actually catch some of the streams now and back in day shift for 2 weeks, John Davison goes on a Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And they're always good streams. Raymond Piper, what about you, chum? Glad to see you here. I think that's us. Oh, Chief Moody with Jack from 7 p.m. on Sunday. There you go. That's what Rags is up to tomorrow. So we've got that. I've heard rumors that Toffee is going to be trying to do a regular Monday night stream. I'm not exactly sure how far along the line he is, well, but I don't. I think that should be coming up. Ludwig, what about you, sir? Glad to see you. And there was a bit of a comment I seen earlier. I want to throw up. I believe it was the real Vincent Griffin, but I'm not sure. Scrolling back. Yes, it was real Vincent. Remember the 5th of November, Gunpowder, Treason and Plot. If you can't give us one, we'll take two. The better for us and the worse for you. Yes, that's what we're on about tonight. We're going to be looking at the Gunpowder Plot. We've got a saint in the house. Very good. He's going to be taking the message upstairs. Thank you very much. It's always good to have a saint in the firm. Trying to think, is there anything else we need to get through? in the housekeeping? I think not. I think we're pretty much ready to go. Yes, evening, sir. Mr. Vincent of Griffin. With that, I'm going to start looking up the first. Oh, Linda Hunter's in from down under. Happy to be able to be back. Good evening. I'm glad to see you here. Chris, there we go. Happy 5th November. 42 and friends. Fireworks in the rain tonight were awesome. Yes, always good to get a bit of fireworks. Not so great with the rain, but there you go. So we'll get into this. We're going to start off with the Gunpowder Plot. And just this up and running. Let's see. Back to StreamYard. Share screen. Chrome tab. Gunpowder Plot. And up it comes. Now, I just want to check and see what we're like size-wise. I think I can maybe get rid of that advertisement. And I'm going to zoom it in just a little. Here we go. First thing we're hit with is a picture of the conspirators with old Foxy there in the middle. On 5th of November 1605, a secret plot to blow up the British Parliament on the opening day and kill both King James I and as many members of Parliament as possible was discovered and stopped. An anonymous letter that tipped off an advisor to the king made it possible to stop the planned mass murder from happening. The perpetrators were captured, tried, and executed for treason. This historical event is known as the Gunpowder Plot because of the 36 barrels of gunpowder found in the basement of Parliament building. Gunpowder intended to be used in a massive deadly explosion. History around the Gunpowder Plot. I'm just going to do a quick check on the chat. Oh, Vincent's going to be doing some streaming. Very good. Just want to check through. Yes, always important to have the matches. Right, okay. Pretty much caught up. Around 1603, after Britain's Queen Elizabeth I dies, her cousin James the IV of Scotland takes the throne and the title of King James I. Although James is a Protestant, he is also the son of devout Catholic Queen Mary, Queen of Scots. So Catholics are hopeful that this king will be more sympathetic towards them than his predecessor. In early 1604, the king shows his loyalty belongs solely with the Church of England by ordering all Catholic priests to leave the country. Going even further, he continued to practice imposing fines on Catholics who refused to attend Church of England services. Meanwhile, Catholic Robert Caseby, whose father had been persecuted for the religion during Elizabeth's reign, meets with his cousin Thomas Winker and John Wright to begin plotting their attempt to kill James I. As part of their plan, Windsor goes to Spanish-ruled Flanders to ask for Spain's support in the effort, but it is turned down because Spain wants peace with England and refuses to help the plotters. While he is in Flanders, Winter meets and recruits fellow Englishman Guy Fawkes, who is an explosives expert and a mercenary. Fawkes is also a Catholic convert and has been fighting with the Catholic army in Spain against the government. Meanwhile, in England, more anger towards James is stirred up when he and the Parliament rule that Catholics no longer have the right to make wills or receive rent. Guy Fawkes and Wintour return to England, meet with Catesby, Thomas Percy, and John Wright. It is these 5 men who form the core of the rebellious group and who swear religious oath of secrecy. With help from the influential and zealous Fox, 8 more conspirators join the effort. The conspirators devise a plan to blow up the House of Lords on the opening day and to begin a popular uprising that will eventually restore the throne to a Catholic monarch. See, you all thought that it was only in Northern Ireland we had these Protestant Catholic things going on. But there you go. Around June 1604, unaware that Thomas Percy is plotting against the throne, his patron, the Earl of Northumberland, secures Percy a position as a royal bodyguard. Percy moves into a house close to Parliament, accompanied by Guy Fawkes, who poses as his servant and goes by the name John Johnson. Because of Percy's new position, he and Fawkes are able to move around Parliament easy without any suspicion being aroused. At the same time, Robert Catesby and newcomer Robert Keyes, cousin to both Wintour and Wright, begin to obtain and store gunpowder in Catesby's house, which is across the river from Parliament. The plotters disperse for the summer after it's announced that the opening of Parliament has been postponed until February. When they come back together in October, they begin digging a tunnel from underneath Percy's house to the House of Lords. But once again, the opening of the House of Lords is postponed, this time due to fears about the plague. It is rescheduled for October 1605. In March 1605, the tunnellers are able to stop their labour-intensive tunnelling efforts because Thomas Percy manages to rent the cellar directly beneath the House of Lords. Still posing as Percy's servant, Guy Fawkes attends the cellar and the 36 barrels of gunpowder that have been moved there from their storage spot in Catesby's house. The barrels of gunpowder are hidden under piles of coal and wooden sticks, which are legitimately intended to be used for fuel during the winter. The conspirators need more money to support the armed uprising they plan for after the explosion of Parliament. Catesby's cousin, Francis Tership, helps fund them, as does wealthy Ambrose Rookwood. The uprising in the Midlands is supposed to be led by Sir Edward Divilly, who is a Catholic convert. Father Henry Garnet, the head of the Jesuit mission in England, learns of the plot in the confessional and tries unsuccessfully to persuade Catesby to give the plan up. Meanwhile, the opening of Parliament is pushed back yet again, this time until November. Right, I'm going to jump back into the chat here just to see what everybody's saying. He was known in progressive circles as Guy Fawkes. That's a nice little verse Steve Shaw's come up with. There will someday come a 5th of November or another date. It don't matter when the fires will burn a chain of brightness from Land's End to John O'Groats. A desperate disease requires a dangerous remedy, Guy Fawkes. I don't exactly think Protestantism is indeed a dangerous disease. So there is that. And what I will say in this interlude is, while everything that's in this is made quite a bit about persecution of Catholics in Great Britain, as you will hear later on, it's not at the same level as it was as persecution of Protestants whenever Catholics were ever in charge. I'll leave it at that. Right. The lengthy time between the start of the plot and the actual opening of Parliament gives some of the plotters time to have second thoughts about what they are involved in, especially since there will be Catholics present at the Parliament on the opening day, and that means Catholic casualties. 10 days before the scheduled November the 5th opening date, Francis Terrorism, brother-in-law to Lord Monteagle, is delivered an on-signed letter that warns him not to attend the opening. Although it does not go into specifics, it is clear that there will be dangerous, perhaps deadly events. A Catholic who is loyal to the crown, Lord Monteagle, takes a letter to the King's Chief Minister, Robert Cecil, one of Monteagle's servants, informs the plotters about what has occurred, and Catesby, who immediately suspects his cousin Francis Terrorism of penning the letter, confronts him. Terrorism denies having any part in it, but he uses the opportunity to try to persuade Catesby to completely abandon the idea. Catesby refuses and has Guy Fawkes check in the cellar to see if the gunpowder has been seized. It has not. Meanwhile, Robert Cecil has shown the letter to King James, who immediately hones in on the phrase terrible blowy. He makes a connection to gunpowder and orders a search. The first search of the cellar is unsuccessful. As the attendant, Guy Fawkes, posing as John Johnson, assures him that the cellar is rented to his master, Thomas Percy, a royal bodyguard. The searchers are satisfied with the explanation, but the king is not. He orders another search, this time just after midnight on November the 5th. The searchers return to the cellar. This time they find Fawkes dressed for travelling and in possession of matches and fuses. Further searching turns up the 36 barrels of gunpowder. Fawkes is taken into custody and then taken to the king. He is interrogated but refuses to talk until he has been tortured. He finally admits his real identity and confesses the plot to destroy England's Protestant reign and replace it with a Catholic monarchy. Catesby is shot and killed, and Fawkes and the other surviving conspirators are sentenced to be publicly hanged, drawn, and quartered. On January 31st, 1606, the day of his intended execution, Fawkes jumps from the ladder leading to the gallows, breaking his neck, and died. So there's no drawing and quartering involved. Guy Fawkes Night, also called Guy Fawkes Day or Bonfire Night, was established that year, 1606, by Parliament in remembrance of the foiled Gunpowder Plot. It is now celebrated every year on November the 5th, when people across England set off fireworks, light bonfires, and burn effigies of Guy Fawkes. We're going to get on to the effigies later, because originally there was more than one effigy burnt. It was a legal requirement to observe Guy Fawkes Day until 1959, when the observance of the 5th November Act was repealed. And this just goes through a list of the important facts. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to jump back into the chat. The Gunpowder Plot is the name of a foiled effort in 1605 by Catholic rebels to kill the non-Catholic king and his many members of Parliament by blowing up the House of Lords. The plot was scheduled to take place on the open day of the House of Lords, ensuring the presence of the king and most, if not all, members of Parliament. The histology and bitter history between Catholics and the Church of England Protestants dates back to the reign of Henry VIII, who instituted the legality of divorce by separating from the Catholic Church, which we have covered on this channel. The leader of the rebels was Robert Catesby, a Catholic whose father had been imprisoned for his beliefs. After the plot and the explosives were discovered, Catesby was shot and killed, holding a picture of the Virgin Mary. The most famous of the rebels was Guy Fawkes, a Catholic convert, mercenary, explosive expert who was in charge of and captured with the gunpowder. After being tortured, Fawkes gave up the plot in the name of his co-conspirators. Plot avoided being hanged, drawn, and quartered by leaping from a scaffolding. There was 36 barrels of gunpowder. The anonymous letter. It took 2 searches to discover the gunpowder, and we have Guy Fawkes Day. So there's that. Now we're going to go into a bit more detail. I just want to jump back into the chat first. Get this thing down. No, it's to remind them not to try to blow the government up. There's two different things. Hang, drawn, and quarter. Yep, I if I get the top job, it will be right back. Um, Neck breaking does seem to work. Yes. William Shakespeare's portrayal of Richard III was actually based on Robert Cecil. Now, there's something I didn't know. That's a good bit of info, Sanson. Uh, right. Now, we're going to have a look at the Houses of Parliament, like, because we'll get some information out of that. There was a couple of bits I found interesting that I wanted to have a look at, so we'll get that up. Right. Now, this is from the UK government official website. And we obviously know the government wouldn't make any effort whatsoever to put a spin on anything. What do you want? The people behind the plot. So Thomas and Robert Winter. Winter was born in 1571 into a Worcester Catholic family. An uncle of his, a Catholic priest, was executed in 1586. Winter fought as a soldier in Flanders and France during the 1590s and visited Rome in 1600. By 1602, he was involved with his cousin Robert Catesby and Francis Tation and with Lord Mongate in discussions with the Spanish government about providing military help for English Catholics. So basically, these people wanted a war. In early 1604, Winter was among the first to be drawn the Gunpowder Plot by Catesby. He was doubtful about its chances of success, but went to Flanders to find out if the Spanish would help. Whilst there, he recruited Fox. Winter was closely involved with the subsequent preparations. Robert Winter, Thomas's elder brother, was born around 1566, a devout Catholic with close connections to many other Catholic families. He inherited the family home of Hollinston Court, Worcestershire, which was used to shelter a number of Catholic priests. Sometime around January 1605, Robert was drawn in the plot, possibly because the conspirators needed more men to dig the tunnel onto the House of Lords. Roberts did not stay with the other plotters at Holbridge in Staffordshire, and their final stand was only captured in 1606 at Hatley, Wiltshire. He was tried on 27th of January and executed at St Paul's Church Yard on the 30th of January. I'm going to go back. Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes was born in 1570, and though his father was a staunch Protestant, his mother married for a second time into a strongly Catholic family. He went to St Peter's School at York, like the Wright brothers, and later became a soldier fighting for the Spanish against the Dutch. Although not a senior officer, he gained a reputation for his technical expertise. On behalf of some of the English Catholics, he discussed with the Spanish an invasion of England. In 1604, he was recruited by Thomas Winter to join the Gunpowder conspiracy and come to London. Catesby initiated him and Thomas Percy into his plans in May. Once Percy had rented the house next to the House of Lords later that month, it was decided that Fox would pretend to be Percy's servant and live there. He adopted a false identity of John Johnson and was closely involved in the business of digging the tunnel under the Houses of Lords. Once the House of Lords basement was rented, the tunnel was abandoned. Fox went abroad during the middle of 1605, but was back in London in late October to finalise the plan and was ready on 4th of November to carry it out. When the basement was searched later that day, Fox was found looking after a large pile of firewood. His explanation were initially accepted, but suspicions were subsequently aroused, and in a second search later that evening, the gunpowder was found under the wood and Fox was arrested. The king authorised the use of torture on 6th of November, and Fox's testament of 7th, 8th, 9th of November revealed much more information, which the authorities used to begin to pick up some of their co-conspirators. Fox was tried with the other surviving conspirators on 27th of January 1606, executed at the Old Palace Yard, Westminster. Well, he did the execution himself. He took a bit of a jump. The other thing I wanted to get into was the aftermath. Several of the conspirators were captured in the following day's discovery of the plot. 4 were killed in a shootout, and the remaining 8 were convicted of treason and hung, drawn, and quartered. The discovery of the plot had lasting effect on the treatment of Catholics in England, and its failure is commemorated to this day on Bonfire night, 5th of November. From retribution to toleration. For English Catholics, the plot was a disaster, tainting all with the treason of a handful of men. And when Parliament met in January 1606, there were calls for action against Catholics from strongly Protestant MPs. I wonder why. James I argued that the majority of Catholics were loyal. However, he supported legislation which made them swear an oath affirming loyalty to the king and denying the power of the Pope. The Gunpowder Plot seems to have marked the end of active Catholic conspiracy in England, Wales, and Scotland, but Protestant suspicion lived on. The life of Catholics remained uncomfortable, but they remained alive. In 1630s, Protestants thought the Charles I's reign's religious policies were leading the English Church too close to Catholicism, and their belief that a Catholic plot helped to draw Parliament into the war with the King in 1642. In the late 1660s onwards, during the reign of Charles II, many people thought that Catholics were planning to take over the government in the country. Their fears became intense when it was known that the heir to the throne, Charles's brother James, had converted to Catholicism. From 1678 to 1681, the idea of a papish plot, which turned out to be entirely fictional, obsessed the country and was supposed to have been designed to assassinate Charles in order to bring James to the throne. 1681, there was a papish plot that was entirely fictional. I would say the events quite shortly after that, 1690, says maybe there was a bit of a problem. When James II was deposed and the Glorious Revolution of 1688, his replacement by King William III and Queen Mary II was seen as rescuing Protestantism in England from the Catholic threat. I think we might have thought a bit of a war there. With the final defeat of James's heirs in the rebellion of 1745, politicians no longer saw Catholicism as a danger. The penalties against Catholics exercising their religion were rarely enforced, and some of the penalties against them were removed. Although Popery was still capable of raising powerful popular emotions throughout the 18th and into the 19th century, Roman Catholics were increasingly accepted in English politics and society. In 1829, most remaining legal disabilities placed on Catholics were finally removed by Parliament in the Catholic Emancipation Act. So there you go. That is pretty much what happened after that. I need to jump back into the chat. Uh, Felix. With such a long standing tradition as this, which I vividly remember and engaging in a penny for the guy, the self sabotage of our country by traitors hits me like a fatal wound. Uh, all I'm going to say is maps belong on a wall. Toffee evening, sir. It's a duck evening. Just want to check through this. Uh, what did Dawn Brennan say? Ah, right. Yes, now it all makes sense. Evening Dawn. Yes, there ain't going to be no forgiveness for the current batch of madness. Uh, yeah, them people looking for a uh, COVID amnesty are barking up entirely the wrong tree. And actually, the 5th of November, should remind these people we can tend to have a very long memory in this country. A very long memory. Now, what I wanted to go on to now was the annual celebrations or commemorations, whichever way you want to say it. We're going to have a little video break. We're going to look at the Lewes, the Bonfire celebrations in Lewes. Which is the only place in the country still doing it right. And I didn't know about this until very recently, and I would love to go there some year. Share screen, Chrome tab. This is just a sign for what they're doing, and you've got different pictures floating up here in the middle. Lewes Bonfire celebrations. The Lewes Bonfire Night, or the Lewes Bonfire Night celebrations, is the biggest celebrated 5th of November event in the world, and is held in the usually peaceful country town of Lewes, pronounced Lewes or Lewes, East Sussex, every year on the 5th of November. And the carnival or festival known as the 5th, either the Lewes Bonfire Night celebrations, Lewes Bonfire Night, or just simply the 5th. We won't be druv was the saying on that there. It's now I'm going to get a bit of video for that up. Yep, we'll do the video first. A quick video interlude. Just getting this to load up, and then we'll get it on the screen. Yeah, we're in theater mode. Here we go. Share screen, Chrome tab. I will be stopping this every so often to give a little bit of commentary on it. Actually, I'm just going to take it back just a little bit. These crosses, they represent the 17 martyrs from the town of Lewes. They were Protestants that were uh, burnt at the stake and had the largest human bonfire in the whole of Great Britain. Note the effigy there getting burnt about the pandemic. These people tend to burn effigies of anybody that tries to infringe upon their right to carry out their annual celebrations. These guys up on the stage are trying to give a bit of a speech to explain all about the events, and the people are more interested in the fireworks, so they'll start throwing fireworks at them. That's a traditional event. Jumping over the fire, we've talked about this at other British cultural events. Something that was done around May Day as well. I just want to have a quick look at the chat. Uh, what all do we have here? Yep, that is. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, well, I'm not sure if there was a Matt Hancock one, but they do always have an effigy of the Pope at that, given how it was a papish plot. And right, I'm going to have a quick look at the Wikipedia for that event, because there's a couple of bits that I want to catch up on that are significant. Get back to StreamYard. I would rather they burn an effigy of Tony Blair, to be honest. Well, I'm pretty sure Tony Blair has featured there. Uh, they've also, there was one year they got into uh, they got into Spot of Baller whenever they did burn the Gypsy Caravan. Felix, thank you. I don't think there's effigies of those people. Uh, the two permanent ones are the Pope and Guy Fawkes, and then they two other people that they think have got are trying to get away and get in the way of their commemorations. Right, Lewes Bonfire. I need to make this a little larger. What I will say while I'm doing this is that looks pretty much like a cultural event to me for a country where we keep on getting told we do not have a culture or history or tradition. I'm pretty sure this is history, culture, and tradition. Lewes Bonfire, or Bonfires for short, describes a set of celebrations held in the town of Lewes, Sussex, England, that constitute the United Kingdom's most infamous Bonfire Night Festival, with Lewes being called the Bonfire Capital of the World. Steady on. I think that's Belfast. Always held on the 5th of November, unless the 5th falls on a Sunday, in which case it's held on Saturday the 4th. The event not only makes Guy Fawkes Night the date, not only marks Guy Fawkes Night the date uncovering of the Gunpowder Plot in 1605, but also commemorates the memory of the 17 Protestant martyrs from the town that were burnt at the stake for their faith during the Marian prosecutions. Lewes is home to the largest and most celebrated festival in the Sussex bonfire tradition. There are 7 societies putting in 6 separate processions and firework displays throughout Lewes on the 5th of November. As well as this, 25 to 30 societies from all around Sussex come up to Lewes on the 5th to march in the streets. This can mean up to 5,000 people taking part in the celebrations and up to 80,000 spectators attending in the county market town with a population of just over 17,000. What I wanted to mark the demise of 17 Lewes martyrs, 17 burning crosses are carried through the town, and a wreath laying cemetery occurs at the War Memorial in the centre of the town. Ladies and men races take place, pulling flaming tar barrels in a barrel run, which takes place along Cliff High Street. At the start of the evening, a flaming tar barrel is then thrown into the River Ouse. This is said to symbolise the throwing of magistrates into the river after they read the Riot Act to the Bonfire Boys in 1847. The festivities culminate in 5 separate bonfire displays. A large number of effigies are drawn through the streets before being burned on bonfires. Each year these include Guy Fawkes as well as Pope Paul V, who became the head of the Roman Catholic Church in 1605. In addition, each of the 5 main local societies creates a topical tableau, large 3-dimensional model packed with fireworks, and the chef and souvenir societies display on pikes the heads, also an effigy, of current enemies of the bonfire, who range from nationally revered figures to local officials who have attempted to place restrictions on the event. In 2001, effigies of Osama bin Laden were burnt by the Cleef, Commercial Square, and Lewes Spurs bonfire societies, causing Lewes Bonfire to receive more press attention than usual, being featured on the front page of some national newspapers, as did the third Bonfire Society's 2003 choice of a gypsy caravan. In 2014, police investigated complaints about plans to burn 2 effigies of Alex Salmond, the First Minister of Scotland. and one model was subsequently withdrawn from the event. In 2015, effigies of David Cameron with a pig, Jeremy Clarkson, and Sepp Blatter were burned. So they're not afraid of being controversial, these people, and they're very good at they're very good at sticking up for making sure this event continues. There would have been events like this in quite a few places in England, and they have dwindled down to this being the last one. The other thing I wanted to look up was the Orange Lodge in Lewes. What a surprise. I wanted to get into the the 17 Protestant martyrs. The Lewes martyrs were a group of 17 Protestants who were burnt at the stake in Lewes, East Sussex, England, between 1555 and 1557. These executions were part of the Maryland prosecutions of Protestants during the reign of Mary I. On June the 6th, 1556, Thomas Harwood of Wood Mancote near Hamfield, West Sussex, carpenter John Oswald of Wood Mancote near Hosfield, West Sussex, husbandman Thomas Reid of Axley, Sussex, and Thomas Averton of Aldry, Sussex were burnt. Richard Woodman and 9 other people were burnt together in Lewes on the 22nd of June 1557 on the orders of Edmund Bonner, Bishop of London. The largest single bonfire of people that ever took place in England. The 10 of the men had not been kept in the town gaol before they were executed, but in an undercroft of the Star Inn. The Star Inn became Lewes Town Hall, and the undercroft still exists. Together with the Gunpowder Plot, the Lewes martyrs are commemorated annually on or around 5th of November by the Bonfire Societies of Lewes and surrounding towns and villages, including Lewes Bonfire. Right, just jumping back into the chat. I will go on, we're on 50 minutes, we're doing good. Edmund has been through it. I would love to actually go to that event. Don Browning's going back to their garden. And with that, I think that's pretty much all we have on Bonfire Night. And we're going to have a little interlude. Yep. With a... Yes. We're going to do a strange sport. Get your guesses in. What you think this week's strange sport could be. What have we had? We had dog surfing, ostrich racing. We have had what else we have? Oh yes, polo player on those fucking crazy little taxi things. Right. Where are we? Right, 1 second, just get this to the correct place. Here we go, 1 second. Yep, we're all good to go. Birdman Rally, Tiddlywinks, Australian rules football. Nope. We have got something more strange than that. We have got something much more strange than that. Here we go. Yep. Check we're in the right mode. Yep, we're in the right mode. We have unicycle hockey. Yep. Anybody
Just
have that
when
in their
you
bingo
thought
card?
hockey couldn't get any more exciting, someone goes and invents unicycle hockey. That's right. Unicycle hockey is a thing, and is exactly what it sounds like. Hockey played on unicycles. Each player mounts onto their unicycle during game action in order to play the ball. If you're not mounted, you're not allowed to touch the ball. Just like ice hockey, each team sends out 5 players each, and no dedicated goalie. This isn't just something that is played for fun. There are 3 national unicycle hockey leagues located in the world. Australia's league features 8 teams. Switzerland is home to about 20 teams. And Germany's league features 53 teams. Riding a unicycle without falling off is hard enough as it is. But to do it while playing a game of hockey would seem almost impossible. But hey, it's not. Number 5, dog surfing.
There we go. So, there you go. That is a quick look into the world of unicycle hockey. I have something I need to address. It's a duck. You would have been, but you've missed that episode. We have done the extreme ironing. It has been mentioned. Oh, the Birdman of Bogness. Yes, that went all professional. I think Red Bull has took over that. And I have a problem with Red Bull, and that anytime I use any of their video stuff, the full video gets taken down worldwide because YouTube are kuhunta. So there you go. Oh. We have sackbots on the starboard bow. I think we've got rid of them. Yes, actually, I think we could. We could do a little bit of beach volleyball. I think that could be. On the menu. But not tonight because we need to actually find the clips first. But Steve, yes, we'll make someday. They might do a little return to that. Let's see where we're going to go next. Movember. Yes, we have entered Movember, and I want to have a little bit of talk about Movember. And put the series head back on. It is actually wheelchair basketball, and also that wheelchair rugby is fucking mad. That they are proper hardcore sports. Movember. Right, here we go. StreamYards. Now, right. This is the about page of the Movember. Movember UK. Movember is a right. I'm actually going to read this off the thing. Uh, Movember is the leading charity changing the face of men's health. We know what works for men and what doesn't. There are three things that they go hard on are mental health and suicide prevention, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer. Uh, what do I want to go? I want to go to the About Us. Right, hold on. From humble beginnings, the Movember movement has grown into a truly global one. We've made epic progress in men's health, but for every whisker of credit goes to the Mo Bros and Mo Sisters from around the world. 5 million since 2003. Their, their enthusiasm fuels our fire and support to change lives. For them, we're committed to keeping these fun things fresh and inspiring. They are the rock stars and the roadies. So the movement began in 2003. What people do, they do all sorts of stuff to raise money. It goes on most of the year, and they support over 2,000 different projects. It is a proper, decent charitable organization and foundation. It's not just it's not a gimmick month. And the work they are doing is incredibly valuable. The other thing, what I want is the finances. Yep, our finances. What I will say, whenever you go anywhere near any charity, one of the first things you want to do is check out how much of the money goes to projects and how much goes on wages and shit. 77.8% of funds raised are allocated to men's health projects. In 2021, Mo brothers and sisters from across the United Kingdom helped us raise 14.1 million for Movember. These donations allow us to raise awareness, invest in fighting men's health initiatives, and run Movember each year. We want to help men live happier, healthier, and longer lives. We do this by investing in the following critical areas: mental health, suicide prevention, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer, which I'm going to talk about shortly. We distribute the funds to a broad range of men's health projects and to trusted men's health partners. In the United Kingdom, our project partners include Prostate Cancer UK. These partners, along with the Movember managed men's health projects, ensure donations support a broad range of innovative world-class initiatives. All funds distributed to our men's health partners are restricted to use by Movember approved projects only. And that is quite important, because what does happen quite a lot of the time is a group of people raise money, and that money gets distributed to places that they were never intended for. Yep. There are a lot of football teams starting to get involved with it as well. But it is actually a genuinely good charity. Now, so that began in 2003, and it began to actually make a difference and raise funds and stuff. And then we had the first interloper, which is these bunch of peoples. All right. This is one bunch of people you may or may not see. No Shave November, and it could quite easily be mistaken with Movember because it has a similar logo, it has a similar theme. No Shave November is a month-long journey during which participants forgo shaving and grooming in order to evoke a conversation and raise cancer awareness, learn more on how to get involved, and start getting hairy. If I can get down to if I go to the about. So, No Shave November has been a tradition for many years, but in 2009, the Chicago-based Hill family decided to reinvent the activity and raise money for charity. It's not like that hadn't already been happening since 2003. The project held special meaning for it. Right. So this is a very similar campaign that sprung up on the heels of Movember. And the big difference is, whereas all the money raised by Movember goes to help men, No Shave November and a lot of things goes to breast cancer, which gobbles up 95% of all cancer treatment funds. So there is that. There's a bit of a problem there. They jumped on the bandwagon. I have no problem with other people raising money. Just don't try to fucking interlope and steal other people's fucking stuff. The other thing that you will hear, right, the other thing that you will hear about in November is this fucking madness. The no nut crowd, fucking idiots. Here we go. We'll have to go to Wikipedia because No Nut November does not actually have a website. It's not an organization. It's a fucking it's an act of madness. Chrome tab. No Nut November. Sure. So we'll do a little bit about No Nut November. Just want to check if that's here. No Nut November is an internet challenge revolving around abstinence from masturbation, sex, and ejaculation. Cloning to nut. Yeah, bugger off. That term isn't even correct. During the month of November, it originated in late 2010 and grew in popularity on social media during and after 2017. So basically, it arrived on Reddit in 2010, and in 2017, it got to mainstream internet. Although No Nut November was originally intended to be satirical, some participants suggest that abstaining from ejaculation and watching pornography has health benefits. An Urban Dictionary entry for No Nut November was published in 2011, and in 2017, the movement started to gain popularity on social media. It was associated with the No Flap community on Reddit, which encourages its members not to masturbate. The Reddit community, No Nut November, grew from 16,500 subscribers in 2018 to 52,000. Now, it's saying here that they're saying some participants suggest that abstaining from ejaculation and watching pornography has health benefits. This, people, is totally untrue. They're quite apart from Soy Jack November. Yep, quite apart from there being no positive health benefits from abstaining from ejaculations, it's actually unhealthy to do so. So this is where we're going to go into our little bit of medical stuff. Here we go. Why is that saying that? Hold on. Something not right here. Fuck. I nearly jumped out of the site there, which would not have been good. Here we go. Sure. Few. Semen. Few. Semen. Right. Gentlemen and ladies, listen in. This is a little bit important. What's that? Oh, DJ's in. What about your chum? Aunt Mannequin. Yes, there is that. There is that. A little bit of Monty Python. Right. Why more sex may lower prostate cancer risk? A number of studies have found that greater ejaculation frequency is associated with reduced risk of prostate cancer. One such study was co-authored by L'Oreal Mookie, professor of epidemiology at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. The 2016 study found that ejaculating more than 20 times per month reduced prostate cancer risk by 20%, compared to ejaculating only 4 times per month for both men in their 20s and 40s. This is a fairly sizable effect, she said on March 22nd, 2022. By the way, this article's from Harvard. One possible explanation for why frequent ejaculation may protect against prostate cancer is that it may help clear potentially cancer-causing substances from the prostate, Mickey says. She noted that overall ejaculation has many benefits and few risks if done safely. Sex can be a wonderful part of a healthy relationship, and sex and masturbation can have positive physiological effects, she said. So there's no downside to increased sex or masturbation so long as it is protected sex. So basically, that whole no nut thing is bad for you. So there is that. And while we're on the subject of sperm, we will have another little look at another medical study. Ladies, pay attention. You're going to like this. Trust me, you are. Right. Semen is a bodily fluid that is secreted by the glands of male animals. It contains spermatozoa and fuctose and other enzymes that help sperm to survive and facilitate successful fertilization. During the process of ejaculation, the semen is ejaculated from the seminal fascicle in the pelvis, which is where it is produced. Volume of semen released per ejaculation varies, as estimated an average of around 4.4 milliliters is ejaculated at one time. The amount ejaculated can be as high as 4.99 milliliters or as low as 2.3 milliliters. If there's a prolonged gap between ejaculations, the number of sperm semen increases, but there's no overall increase in the semen. Semen passes through the ejaculatory ducts and mixes with fluids in the seminal vessels, the prostate, and the Bulgaria glands. The seminal vessel produces viscous fructose rich fluid. This forms around 65 to 70% of the semen base. The white colour of semen is due to secretion from the prostate glands containing enzymes, critic acid, lipids, and acid prostate, which taken together forms around 25 to 30% of the semen base. At each ejaculation, around 200 to 500 million spermatozoa are released by the testes. This forms around 2 to 5% of the semen composition. The bulgarial glands produce a clear secretion that helps the mobility of the sperm cells in the vagina and cervix. In addition, the clear secretion reduces the thickness of the channel in sperm cell to swim through and adds cohesive jelly-like consistency to the semen. The gland secretion contributes less than 1% of the overall semen composition. Semen also contains more than 50 different compounds, including hormones, endorphins, neurotransmitters, a load of stuff. Fructose, acid, zinc, cholesterol, protein, calcium. Right, I'm not going through all that. Semen also consists of a variety of proteins that have antimicrobial activity against bacterial viruses and fungi. Also present in semen are mood enhancers. Listen up, ladies. Compounds such as crystal, estrone, octreotine, therapon-releasing hormone, practicum, melatonin, and serotonin. For this reason, scientists have begun studying the health benefits of semen intake both orally and vaginally. Some studies into side effects of swallowing semen are described here. In pregnancy, catch you later, John. Thanks for dropping in. RP, what about you, son? Right, so basically what we've got to here is swallowing semen, ladies, is a mood enhancer. It's good for you. A Dutch study of women who engaged in oral sex and swallowing semen, the researchers found that swallowing semen was associated with lower risk of preeclampsia. One hypothesis for this is the substances in the semen adapt the mother's immune system so that it accepts foreign proteins present in the sperm, as well as the placenta and fetus, and maintains the blood pressure at a low level and thereby reduces risk of preeclampsia. Research has also shown that some women are infertile or miscarry due to the presence of antibodies that destroy the protein or antigens present in the partner's semen. Having oral sex and swallowing the semen of the partner may help make the pregnancy safer and more successful as the woman is swallowing her partner's antigens. Work carried out by reproductive expert pathologist Gordon Gullop from the State University of New York at Albany suggests that swallowing semen could provide a cure for morning sickness. Gordon hypothesizes that pregnant women vomit as a result of their bodies rejecting genetic material from the sperm as a foreign substance, but that by swallowing and ingesting the sperm of the baby's father, they can build up immunity. One study conducted by research at the University of Saskatchewan, a protein in the semen found to act in the female brain to induce ovulation. The protein is the same molecule that controls growth, maintenance, and survival of neurons. The findings suggest that semen may work as a signaling hormone that acts via the hypothalamus and pituitary gland of the female brain, which triggers the release of other hormones involved in prompting ovulation. So there you have it. Well, see, Pac-Max, here's the thing. I've got a link to the medical fucking... it's not me making it up. It's the medical science. What can I say? And it's being tried and tested. If you in the description, there is the link to that article, but there are plenty more that all say the same thing. So there you go. There's Billy Blogs has entered in. So there you go. We've got that. So it's all right. We're through all that stuff. It wasn't me. It was the doctors that made it intellectual. Look, just look in the description. The BJs aren't just good for you; they're good for her as well. And the links are in the description for the regular sex, reducing your risk of cancers, and that swallowing the semen will increase her mood and help her with all sorts of stuff. What's oddly convenient is that it's not taught to every fucking person in secondary school. But what's oddly convenient is it's research that is well known, but it's kept under wraps. But anyway, we're going to have our second bit of video intermission. We're going to do a little bit of North Shore mountain biking. Maybe not in the initial challop toffee, but you can introduce it slowly. Right, what was I doing? I wanted this. We'll do a little bit of North Shore mountain biking. Going to take it to about there. Hold on. Yeah, we'll start a little bit here. There's a bit of North Shore mountain biking. There you go. That's a bit of North Shore mountain biking. You probably should, if you can still get fucking parts for it. So a lot of the sizes for stuff's changed. It only works whenever it's fresh. Yeah, it's going to have to be fresh. What am I going to do now? I am going to do this and see if any of you lunatics would like to come in for a chat. And we're going to limit it to like 3 people at a time. And I shall just go through the chat here and see if there's anything I really need to engage with. When I was a kid, I would have had a go at that without a second thought. Now I'm thinking, is there a lift? You're bound to be an expert at getting in the StreamYard link by now, Toffee. There's Toffee. What about you, Sean?
Oh, we're in. That was quick. Wasn't expecting that. I went to go for a piss and thought it'd be a couple of minutes.
do you need to drop off again? Are you okay?
No, I'm all right. I'll just get bladder cancer.
What about you, chum?
How are you, lad? I haven't spoken to you for a while, have I?
No, we haven't really. I seen most of your stream the other night with Tala, but it was on Odyssey, and I can't figure out how to get into the chat of that thing.
Odyssey can be a bit dodgy, can't it? It tends to buffer a fair bit.
No, well, it was coming across okay. I just couldn't get into the chat. It's asked me to do all sorts of things to be allowed to chat, set up all sorts of channels and stuff. And
it does that for me. I'm not even subscribed to his channel, funnily enough, because I can't get in it properly.
So I had like 2 or 3 goes, and every time I did what it told me, it was just asking me to do something else. And I went, fuck this for a party, I'm giving up.
So I got a good bit of feedback from it, but listening to it back, and a few people have said we just went in with the football talk, and listening to it back, we just got carried away with it and didn't cover any of the subjects we were intended to cover.
Well, see, I like the odd football stream, but having said that, there's a lot of people that aren't really into that.
No. We were meant to be talking about, he likes The Sopranos, doesn't he? And I really like it. So we were intended on discussing that, but we didn't even touch on it. Wanted to talk about Gippos as well and the Mafia, which I like, but none of that happened.
See, but have you just had been talking on The Sopranos, they'd lasted about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I've never watched it, I've no knowledge of it. I would have been like, yeah, no, fuck, I'm away.
I recommend
Cheeky Exile Fagan, what about you, Sean?
I'm not bad, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Very welcome. How's yourself?
Good.
Anything?
Yeah, I was just watching the fireworks from my kitchen window for most of the night because I went out to a local bonfire about half a mile from our house, and yeah, it was quite eventful. Just the usual idiots throwing beer cans and other things which go bang onto the fire, till eventually the police came with the fire brigade and ordered everybody out of the area. A few arrests were made, but you know what, all round good fun.
Yeah.
Good to speak to you again, exiled Viking, mate.
Say again?
Good to speak to you again. We briefly spoke on Ragnar's chat, didn't we, the other day?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, I just came on, I just thought I might as well have nothing else to do, so I just thought I'd like to get used to chatting on streams, because eventually I am going to start my own streams. So this is good practice for me.
Oh.
Well, now saying that, mate, while I got the chance, I'm starting to do regular. No one's got the Monday night slot. No one tends to stream. So I'm intending to do it every Monday. So I've got one lad lined up. Sensum's just said he'll come on one night, and if you'll come on, mate, I'll be made up if you would.
Sure, I'll be glad to. Yeah, but yeah,
Brilliant.
just drop me the link when you're nearing the time, and I'll see if I'm free. But yeah, I'll be glad to come on.
Brilliant.
Here, Toffee, and you can stick me on the list. I'll come on at some stage. Probably leave it for a while because we have a quite in-depth conversation.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Uh-huh.
like you said to me, didn't you, the other day? You've been on recently. We spoke recently, so it's best to have a few more people on before you. Like,
But I mean, definitely, if you're provided I'm on, provided I'm on day shift. If you have a week where somebody pulls out or something, I'll come on for you.
Yeah, it depends on your work schedule.
Yeah, I do 2 weeks day shift, 2 weeks night shift. I've just finished my night shift. I'm going back on 2 weeks of day shift. I'm going to get myself down to the gym quite regular and try and get back in and get sorted.
Have you not been going to the gym lately, lad?
Well, see with 2 weeks in night shift, I tend to get, if I get twice a week whenever I'm night shift, that would be quite a lot. But whenever I'm in day shift, I try to have a lot more regular.
Once you get out of it, like it's hard to get back into it. No, if you have like 3 days off not working out, it's quite hard to get back into it. Like,
well, I do have a pull-up bar in the house, so whenever I'm on night shift, I do the whole press up and pull-up thing. Yeah, I do that while I'm, sort of, so I'm still doing something. Do some press ups, do some pull ups, and that's about it. But whenever I'm day shift, fucking night shift, it's work, sleep, eat.
Fucks your body clock up big time as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Last week, I think it's also possibly because we're coming into this dark time of the year, which I absolutely hate. I really don't like the going to work in the dark, coming home in the dark. Well, day shift or night shift, because fucking you sleep through all the fucking daylight. I hate that. But we just have to get on with it and make the best we can from it.
Absolutely. I can actually relate with you, 42. There was many times in the early morning I used to go to my work and it was dark, 6 a.m, and then by the time I got home it was dark again. It was depressing because it went on for about 2 months, and then finally I got normal hours again that I can see some daylight when I get up.
Well, see, if I could get my night shift rate for doing day shift hours, I'd be very happy. But unfortunately, you can't get that.
No.
It's Real Vincent Griffin is on Australian time or Canadian. He lost track. They're two totally different continents. Oh, yeah.
DJ lad.
DJ is things, sir, but he's not. He put a message in the private chat that he'd be.
I'm here now. Like,
oh, all right. What about you, chum?
Still fucking recovering. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Like, it's almost a week since I've come down myself. I know, but I think I'm over the worst of it now, to be fair. But it's really put my work all to fuck. Even my like messages in Telegram, I just cannot be arsed doing anything. I've got like so many people to respond to. They've been sitting waiting in responses since like the start of last week. It's like I don't know. Been a hard week, so I'm hoping next week's a bit better. And for anybody in the chat, no, it's not COVID. All right.
I was about to say,
no, it's not COVID. Well,
COVID?
It might be.
What's that?
It would have to exist
first.
Nah, it's just it's partly as well though because my new job, I'm absolutely rushed off my feet. You know what I mean? And funnily enough, he's wrong about there starting it in the early hours of the morning when it's freezing cold. And I think it's just a combination of everything.
No, do you know what I think it is, DJ? I think that old witch of Sturgeon has put a curse on you. That's it.
Nah, man, this job's hard going. Which I can't
It's
complain
general
about because
seasonal flu going around as well every year. Like you might have just had a bit of touch of flu.
do you know what? I couldn't tell you because I've never had the flu before it. So I don't know what the fuck that was that I had. It's very possible it was the flu. I don't know. It's just, as I say, it's a combination of everything really because I'm absolutely rushed off my feet at work. Cold. It's cold as fuck as well. An old building that's getting gutted and whatnot. No heating or anything like that. Or is there that guy in the Scrubs chat was on about there's no Wi-Fi either. You know what I mean? But no. So it's just a combination, like. But
That was funny, though. Haven't you got Wi-Fi? Like what on a fucking building site?
I know. Well, I've got Wi-Fi in my house, so why have you not got? It's a fucking house, it don't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. First things to put in: foundations, headers, Wi-Fi.
Oh man, that was funny as fuck. Like,
Yeah. Arpa, he's got a permanent 6 to 2 shift. That would be actually quite good. You know, because you're always finished early in the afternoon.
That doesn't sound like that many. Wait, I have to calculate how many hours that is. It doesn't sound like that many though. Well, I suppose you might be getting decent money per hour though. I guess.
So 7 to 3 is an 8 hour shift. So 6 to 2 is that'd be 8 hour shift.
All right, well, maths isn't my forte, so you know.
Well, I only know because I used to be on a rotating 8 hour shift, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. So I'd have done a week of 7 to 3, a week of 3 to 11, and a week of 11 to 7. So that
I'm doing 9 hours a day now. Well, 9.5. You take obviously half an hour off for lunch, like, but fucking hell, it's non-stop. Just wow. I can't complain though because I quit my last job because I was bored. So the last thing I can do is complain. Oh, they're honest to fuck. Last week they had me. You know, you get like what's that called? Oh fuck! You know the stuff that they put on the walls before they put the chips on. Wet dash. No, wet dash. When it's outside walls.
All right. Yes.
Well, these pricks that put that on the houses and building sites, they just leave a mess and then they expect labourers to clean it up. Well, the site agent wanted me to scrape all the stuff off this house last week, 2 weeks ago now, with my knife. Like, I wasn't allowed to use a scraper. I wasn't allowed to use a hammer in case I marked the wall. I had to chip it off with my knife. I got to about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I quit. Well, I'm not fucking doing this. You know what I mean? Get fucked. And then later on that day, got offered a different job, and it's polar opposite, man. I've never been so busy. So I can't complain. But Jesus, imagine that. Chipping little. I mean, it's as hard as concrete, and you want me to scrape it off with my knife. I mean, that's just a piss take here.
Good way to get blisters.
Yeah, that's a job for a chisel.
Exactly, but I wasn't allowed that because I could have scraped the wall. What the fuck?
Do you know what? You're doing demolition now, aren't you? If you're doing that on old buildings, you might be coming across a bit of asbestos. Watch yourself with that.
Aye, but they do tests and all that before they operate in any houses. Like,
yeah, and there's also a register.
Aye.
The first thing they do is they go through the asbestos register and check everywhere, and then they send people in to have a physical check for other things that might have been put in after it was built, before they let anybody out. They are quite the reason why they're very on top of it is if they come across it mid demolition, it's very fucking expensive to get the people in to put up the tentage and do all the proper stuff to get it out. So whenever they're pricing up for the job, they're right on top of that shit.
Aye, and on top of that as well, if they don't catch it at the start and then they find out halfway through and people have been exposed to it, they end up that's a fucking massive insurance hit. Like,
yeah, they had to pay out a shitload of people for people who got asbestos poison. My granddad got it, and they had to pay him like fucking a serious amount of money. Like,
I just absolutely kill it. Like,
here's a question for you: when do you think the medical problems with asbestos was first known about? And doctors started raising the concerns.
Well, I reckon it was 10 years before they decided to release it to the public. Put it that way.
Was it in the 60s or 70s?
I reckon it was in the early 70s because I was reading of something that asbestos was no longer being used by 1971. Well, that's
Right.
in Scotland anyway.
Yeah, you're about 100 years out, chum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. What?
The first doctors reporting problems with asbestos in America was in around about the 1830s.
See, I said
Yeah,
10 years, like,
though,
but that was being fucking generous.
Yep. They first knew about it in the 1830s. Round about the 1950s, early 60s. After that length of time, they decided they had to do something about it because they started to find that the wives and daughters of men who worked with asbestos were getting asbestosis from washing their clothes. What they did was they brought in a ruling whereby overalls had to be washed on site, and all the thing about getting the overalls properly cleaned by the people who run the company, so that it wasn't brought back and put into the washing machine to affect the wives and daughters. And then eventually in the late mid-70s, they stopped using it.
I'll tell you
That's
what,
around
it's not a nice
yeah.
death.
It's around the time I was hearing in the early 70s to the mid 70s, they started to stop using it in buildings. And like my old high school was built in 1957 and it was apparently riddled with asbestos, but they just left it, but they sealed it up so that it would not break free.
Oh, well, one of the other things that pushed it was there was a whole load of teachers were getting asbestosis because the children would do drawings or whatever, or do a bit of work, and the teacher would pin it onto the wall. And then every time that they were pinning it onto the wall, they got a mouthful of asbestos or a bit of it. And whenever the teacher started getting it, and because you will notice the majority of teachers are female, so it was the women being affected that caused the legal changes.
Yeah. I think it
It's
might
your
have been the
lungs, isn't
same.
it, that it affects?
What?
Is it your lungs that it affects?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lungs.
Raymond in the chat just said there that he did that course last year. I should know this too because I have to do it for like all the cards and that I've got for building sites, but it just left my head completely up. But I thought it was the fucking 1960s. Shows what I know.
The thing I know about asbestos, it's a famous story in Glasgow. The men that used to work on the ships, they used to lag the pipes with asbestos and they were covered in the white dust and they were nicknamed the White Mice. And no surprise, they all died of asbestosis in later years.
Yeah.
I think that was in the 1950s right through to the 70s.
It's brutal stuff. Like, there was
It's
a building I was
horrendous
working
death.
on years
Talking
ago.
from experience with my granddad, it's a horrendous death. Like, it's like you're just fucking drowning in your own lungs, sort of thing.
Yeah. Fortunately, I've never encountered asbestos dust, but what I do have is a sealed glass vial of blue asbestos, but don't ask me how I acquired that. I acquired it as a sample kit, but it's sealed in there. But I really am very soon thinking to get rid of it.
I'll give you a fiver. Take a snort.
Yeah,
I'm going to get rid of it some way properly, of course, because I just don't want it around the house anymore.
take it to an ethnic neighbourhood and just,
Sure, there's a couple of titles I'll be interested in that. Like, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Tyrone's a fucking Irish name.
I don't.
What is it?
Yeah.
Why? I
Yeah,
don't actually know why it's become a meme for blacks.
That's why
Yeah.
you're called the N-words of Europe, the Irish.
Yes,
The
but
only Tyrone I'd ever heard of, that cunt from Coronation Street.
Yes.
Tyrone.
yeah, but there's a county in Northern Ireland called County Tyrone.
County Tyrone. Yeah, of course.
Yep, and there are a shitload of boys that are called Tyrone. It's a common name. It's not up there with Jack or John or whatever, but it is common.
It's like a few
Sounds like
others.
the kind of
It's
name
like the
Americans
name
would give their
Winston.
kids.
Yeah, it's fucking, do you know what it is? Those black Americans that steal everything, even a fucking name.
It is tarnished now, though. I mean, every time I hear the name Tyrone, I just think of a black guy now. I don't know why, but it's a name that's stuck now. Eh? So I feel sorry for any white Tyrones out there.
Do you know what? I used to date a girl from County Tyrone when I was a student. Yeah, she was a bit of a darling.
I thought you were going to say you dated a girl called Tyrone.
No, Northern Irish girl. Christina was her name.
Oh, aye, Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, but the problem was it was too heavy with United Ireland, republicanism, and up the Ra. And I just said, on your bike, girl, away you go.
She'd fit in Glasgow, like.
Dodge the bullet there.
Mm-hmm. Did you see what I made a video on earlier on? Just a side note, the latest development in the critical race theory saga. We've all been called white supremacists now by
Yeah, I saw that.
by the Education Faculty in Scotland, Education Scotland. The chief of that organisation came out with a statement calling us all white supremacists. So, that's just fucking madness, man. But I'm sure that'll get discussed in great depth tomorrow night, or tonight, I should say, in the stream. But I couldn't believe that when I seen it. That white supremacist.
I've made a comment on it, but I wouldn't be able to repeat it here.
No, nah. I mean, what you actually made a comment? YouTube probably zapped it. But I don't know.
I said it on your Resisting the Liesman chat.
Oh, right. I haven't really been on there today.
People who poo in the street.
Yeah, I saw I did watch a bit of the video you uploaded today. I felt, because after I said to you in Telegram, I'm needing my Resisting the Lies fixed. The good long streams, the videos that you make, because they are entertaining while I sit and read my book. It's just the dialogue. Like that one you quickly loaded up from 2 years ago. Yeah, that had me laughing my arse off.
Is that the same one you sent me, Deej?
I don't know. What one are you on about?
Remember your Adelaide? Remember you sent me one the
I
other
know
day?
the one you're on about, but what one are you talking about, Exo?
It's about that female that claims that there's no black representation and she doesn't want to be...
Oh, the Iron Brew lassie.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Fucking boot.
It's just the way you get more. You said, this fucking boot wants to be called Scottish and she keeps pamping on about her own and all that. It's just, we're going on, but she's keeps referring to her race while at the same time complaining, nobody sees me as Scottish. You know,
it's the obsession with saying like Iron Brew, eh? Like that's even in her Twitter bio today. And ironically, she says it's like I like Pecora and Iron Brew or something like that. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be Scottish today. Fucking hell! I mean, I don't even like Iron Brew.
You know what, DJ? Just remember, she's just as Scottish as you, bro. Just accept that.
Because she thinks Iron Brew. Like Graham Campbell says that Graham Campbell, when he tried to make out he was Scottish, and he said his dad,
just as Scottish as you, bro.
And he said his dad fucking used to watch the Scotland games when they were playing in the European tournaments, and he sometimes read Robert the Bruce. Oh, well, he must be Scottish then. Eh?
No, man.
Wow. Jesus, does that make me German then if I read Mein Kampf, for fuck's sake? You know what I mean? Man.
In fact, speaking of names, your old pal Jeff Palmer, he finally blocked me on Twitter because I would not stop saying, mate, you're just using that to push your own narrative. You have an anti-white agenda and you're not interested in the slavery going on anywhere else but in the past in the UK. And he didn't even answer me. He just blocked me right out. I thought, oh, well, I must have hurt his little feelings.
By that really going, I must be at least part Asian because I read the Art of War about every other year. You know,
there you
to
go.
keep on top of it.
I've already told you. I've been face to face with 42. 42's a black fella.
I don't know, like I bet he's called Tyrone at all.
No,
that's why
the word is Toffee. The word is you're actually Pakistani. Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I heard.
Toffee Abdul.
Yeah, Toffee Abdul. You're Toffee Abdul from Pakistan.
Fine, like,
Duffy?
we're all laughing. I'm Bulgarian, to be fair. I just pretend I'm a Highlander. But,
Yeah, but you are very much into your curriculum. Curriculum.
oh, fuck, man.
I said that to my other half yesterday, and she just thought, she said, "Oh, don't make fun of people." I said, "No, it's my pal online." He says, he makes fun of this guy whose English is not his first language. I know, but it's still, don't say it in the wrong places. People might call you racist. She means well, but I don't think
You
she
know what
is.
women are like? Yeah.
I know,
I used to get that off my ex, and they'd be like, "Oh, don't be nasty." Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Well, at least he wasn't trying to curry your yogurt.
But
That's
she
it.
did admit curriculum is important for young people. Curriculum. And in fact, I've now got her saying it that way. I say, honey, say curriculum. Curriculum.
To be honest, I reckon us Scousers probably do sound a bit Pakistani to people in the other parts of the country.
No, definitely not.
You're a Scouser and you eat curry. That will be 10 pounds.
Every time I hear a Scouser talk, I just picture Stephen Gerrard. That's the truth. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, I just picture Stephen Gerrard. I'm sorry, I know
All
you
right,
don't
Wack.
like coffee, but that's the truth. You know what I mean?
Whenever I hear Scouse, I just think of Brookside. I can't help it.
Brookside.
Your Scouse accent's funny, DJ. You just say
Yeah.
normal words and then put it at the end of it randomly.
No, I'm not having it.
Mr.
No, I'm not having it.
All right, Wack. What you doing, lad? Fuck, I want Newcastle.
What you saying, you divvy?
You divvy.
Well, that was more Geordie. What you saying, you divvy?
That was pure, Geordie.
I know, I cannot get my accent for it. I need to hear more Scouse.
Do you know, it was funny last night, Sensum, when I was on that stream, Toller read out, Sensum's coming with a donation, and immediately I thought, oh, here we fucking go. And I was right. Just the usual Scout shit.
I'm thinking of that in a Pakistani accent. Here we fucking go.
Here we go.
Here we fucking go. We are going to have to pay 10 pounds for that.
That's a bit going to me coffee.
Yeah, I actually was in a corner shop this evening and I paid for something that was £10 and it just cracks me up whenever they say £10. Okay, that will be 10 pounds. It sounds like they're saying pond, 10 pounds.
This stream's getting very bigoted, I disavow.
Yeah, it is. I disavow this.
Oh, you bigots and racists. Shame on you.
I fully embrace New Scots, like.
42, anchor us in.
Well, there's a corner shop round my way that if you go in on a Saturday evening, the two girls that work on it are sitting drinking vodka.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Asian girls?
No, they're Brits, like, but they would we can't wait on Saturday night because they have to work in the shop, so they have a wee drinky poos in the shop.
Good on him. Can't fault him.
Yep. And do we have? No, pretty much. If you go into any of the corner shops around where I live, the people all sound pretty much like me.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah. Even where I'm fucking from, they're all BAME. Every single one. But it used to come in handy, to be honest, because we would just deliberately, no chance of spoken about this before. In hindsight, it's kind of creepy, actually, but we knew if we went into a shop when we were under the age, if we brought girls with us, we'd always sell us alcohol. But they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, same here.
They would never do it if we went in by ourselves. But every time we had lassies with us, oh, what can I get you? Hello, fucking spotty dogs. I'll take that, and this. You know, throwing our cheeky 10 deck of flags as well, buddy.
Yeah, but
the charm.
Yeah,
this would be literally when we were like 12 years old. You could send our mates in, girl mates in, and they'd buy White Lightning cider off them when they were like 12, and they'd serve them.
DJ, do you know what you call BAMEs that live in the Highlands? BAMElanders.
Nah, blackabites.
Talk about
Here, DJ, with a question I'm from Sanson. What accent does Graham Campbell have?
Well, he was born in London, so he's got a London accent. Like
wasn't he born in Jamaica?
He sounds a bit like this. I sometimes wonder why people don't realise that I'm Scottish. I've been for so long.
No, he's Jamaican.
Yeah, he's born in Jamaica.
He's not
like.
actually Jamaican.
Yeah.
I can't remember where his parents are from, but they're from two separate.
Grenada or somewhere.
They're from two separate African countries. I can't remember, but he's not even Jamaican, really. Like, I mean, there's no such thing as an ethnic Jamaican anyway, because it's not Jamaican full of fucking Africans. But no, his parents come from somewhere else. I can't remember. But no, he was born in raised in London, then moved to Glasgow. I think in his late 20s, early 30s or something. So he's England's problem effectively. So
well, I will say one thing: he doesn't have a strong Jamaican accent. He has an English, or more of a London accent. So definitely,
he was born and raised
in London.
Like, he just dresses like he's from Jamaica. But yet complain why nobody sees him Scottish. Well, I wonder why.
And do you know the ironic thing is, I've watched old Pathy footage of the 1940s with a lot of Jamaicans when they were fighting with the British against Germany. A lot of them actually had British accents. Surprisingly, but again, it was back then people spoke differently. But over time, the accent became more of a Jamaican sound with a bit of an American. But they definitely sounded very British in the 1940s.
If I had to speculate, I would say
when you see Black Londoners, say from the 1970s, they'd speak more with an English accent. But now they've developed this weird patois, how they speak now, kind of thing.
Yes, but what you have to realize is we are not dealing. What we were dealing with back then was the first generation that came to Great Britain to better themselves, and they wanted to be British. They wanted to fit in. You're now dealing with their descendants who, and you'll get this with, but you see if you go to Chicago and talk to so-called Irish Americans, they're more Irish than the Irish. If you look at all these groups, whenever they immigrate en masse and then they have descendants, they become more like the people back in their own country, the more generations go on, because what's happening is they are grieving for a history that they don't have, and they're trying to solve that problem by creating the cultural environment in the land that they've moved to. This is very, very common. It doesn't just happen with Black people in Britain or Pakistani people in Britain. It happens with Irish people that have went to America.
Boston is a classic example, particularly with the Irish. Boston.
Yeah, with the Irish. But then you also have you have German Americans that are the same. You have people from other countries,
Scandinavians in like Minnesota and that, and they've got that weird accent.
Pennsylvania.
Yes, they've got their own peculiarities that they have brought with them, with like a Scandinavian work ethic, and we're Scandinavians, Scandinavian Americans, and they are more like the Scandinavians and the Scandinavians back at home, because they've also held on to a type of Scandinavia that was from the 1800s.
Yeah, you know what? You make a good point there, actually, because I speak to quite a lot of on Telegram now, Scottish diaspora.
I was just about to say this, DJ.
They are like, I'm quite fascinated with how, like, for example, the Highland Games and that in America, they put in a hell of a lot more effort than you see in Scotland now, and like they're a lot more. A lot of them are a lot more proud of their Scottish ancestry than your average Scot here is. I find that fascinating, because they're like,
there's a couple of lads in Resisting the Lies chat on Telegram who have Americans like take their Scottishness very, very seriously. Like,
Yeah.
I've been making
In
a concerted
Canada.
effort for some, because something I've actually said on my channel, if you go through all my videos and that if I had my way, politically speaking, which will never happen, but I think policies should be put into place for Scottish Americans or Scottish, Aussies and whatnot to come home if they want. Like, that should answer to your declining birth rate problem.
Yeah, that
Try
would
and
be
encourage
good.
these people home because they're Scottish. They're like, in the Scot, I can't speak for how many like other groups, like ethnic groups that are out there. Like, I only know the Scottish count. 40 million people in the world that out with the UK are Scottish.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you can attract 500,000 of them, that's your birth rate crisis over for the time being. But no, we can't do that. Can't do that because in order to do that, you have to acknowledge that there's such a thing as a Scot. But my point is,
Yeah,
though, that I've
absolutely.
been making a concerted effort for a long time to not only make that case in some of my videos, but to just get in touch with some of them. And I've got quite a few in my Telegram chat now, lassies and lads,
Yeah, do you know the thing is, DJ, especially in Canada, many place names, towns and villages are all named after Scottish places. Like one example, Banff.
Aye, in Inverness as well.
Yeah, but I mean, in Canada was built by the Scots by the
There's an
majority.
Inverness in Canada, there's an Inverness in New Zealand, there's an Inverness in Australia, California, in America, named after the village here where my grandmother comes from. For fuck's sake, there's a tiny wee village in Scotland called California. That's why California in America is called what it is. Scots.
Yeah. Can I just add? I just wanted to mention something very quickly. When we were talking about generations with the way accent changes, I think originally I had a Scandinavian accent. I sounded more like the guy who appears now and again, Seramer. I mean, I had similar to his accent, but over time my accent changed to more of a Scottish. By about 2000, 2001, I was starting to sound as I am now, but I do remember my accent changed quite a bit because I'm very susceptible to picking up local accents if I'm around it long enough.
You tend to see that if you move somewhere when you're young. Like if you move to Scotland as an adult, then your accent probably wouldn't have changed. You're more susceptible to adaptation when you're a kid.
Do you know that women are more susceptible to that than men? Apparently, like theirs will change quicker than a man's will. No, they move into another area and there's a different accent.
You know what? Surprisingly, Toffee, my parents, they still sound Danish. Me and my sister, we sound more Scottish, although we're not ethnically Scottish, but we would pass as Scots if people hear us. But my parents, I've been asked, are you German? And they're like, no, we are from Denmark. It's just funny that it never affected them, but children are more susceptible.
Well, I literally said to DJ, who was that Scottish lad that you had on the other week? And he said, he's not Scottish, he's Danish. It's like, no, he's not, he's Scottish. Talking about
But I do understand. I'm not ethnically Scottish. I would never try to say, I'm just as Scottish as you, bro.
Boot your ass if you tried that.
I'll boot your ass, boy. Even though you're taller than me, but I still boot your ass.
No, I don't know about that.
Here, DJ, Rory Herbert has a bit of a question for you.
Have I tossed my K-bar?
Yeah.
Well, 42 was reading out quotations earlier on. He said it was a good thing. So I've had two wee breaks in the last hour. Yeah, man, might as well. No. I know he's taking the piss, but in general terms, in terms of like the Highland Games, I've never participated in that. But as for the real meaning to his question, that is personal, Rory. How dare you?
Well, Rory is actually the last person I would ever have thought that would drag the stream down into the gutter.
Exactly. It's just unacceptable to quote him. Where's your decorum, Mr. Herbert? Come on now.
Rory's got a dirty mind on the slag.
Does like.
DJ, I have a question for you. Have you ever been to a Highland Games?
Yeah.
I've been to a few, and it's always pissing with rain, but I tried to throw the iron ball, but it was too heavy for me at the time. I was 16. I didn't have the upper body strength.
To be fair, I don't think most people do it. You need to be kind of tanky for that, or to throw it anyway properly.
You need to be... They're all built like bloody rugby players, so yeah, I know there's no way. They made it look easy. I tried to lift it. It was like, bloody hell, it was like 10 kilos at least. It was heavy.
Yeah, I've never tried anything at the game.
Have a look at where most of the world's strongest men come from. It's Iceland. And Iceland is literally a mixture of Vikings and Scottish women that he took as slaves.
Yeah.
That's literally what Iceland is.
The same with the islands of Scotland as well. The vast majority of them are all Viking descendants as well, like Shetland and that.
Yeah, Hebrides.
Yeah, well, that's where the world's strongest man is just now, is it no? Shetland or something.
The thing is with Shetlanders, they sound half Scandinavian anyway. It's pretty funny listening to them speak.
A very weird accent, like.
And then you've got your amazingly excellent mountain biker from Skye.
Oh, who's that?
Danny McGaskill.
Danny. Oh, yeah.
Danny McGaskill.
Uh-huh.
Fucking that fucker's his gravity seems to work in a different way to everybody else's.
A few of my friends back in the day, well, I know my friends now, but they used to go trail biking with him sometimes. Like, I never met him, but I used to watch some of his videos. Fucking ballsy, I'll give you that. No.
I've not heard of him.
He did, those trial biking, whatever it's called, like the bikes.
Right. Well, we're going to do a little bit of a video. DJ, talk away there. I'm doing a bit of a search.
I think it's called trail biking.
Street trails.
Aye, but a couple of my pals back.
It's like a downhill bike riding kind of thing.
Aye, but like you'll see them like 42 might be pulling the video up, but you'll see them like balancing on like the edges of bridges and shit, and doing like bunny hops and all that. Like, no, I think I'll pass, but that's what they're doing. And jumping from like extreme heights on these bikes and stuff. Like, nah, not for me. But a couple of boys I grew up with used to go out riding with him quite a lot.
Right, and I'll have a video up in a moment. This guy is fucking something else.
Yeah, he was. Well, does he still do it?
Yeah. He does a drop and roll tour.
All right.
He does a tour called Drop and Roll. Goes around the country and they have these big boxes that they bring out. Right, here we go. Share stream. This is the first video the one that came out that made him famous. I want to bring that back to that.
Oh, has it got the fucking tune? Oh, what was it? Oh, no, when you play it.
Highlander.
Yes, I know the one you're on about. Fucking hell.
I'm coming up only to hold you under. And coming up only to show you wrong.
Fuck me.
And to know you.
That's the best way to fix a bent wheel.
We wonder. To know you.
I don't understand these people who are into like extreme sports like this, like high risk of injury.
Check this out.
Just think if he falls there, mate, his bollocks are gone.
Even watching that gives me the cringe.
Really too late to call, so we wait for morning to wake you. It's all we got. To know me as hardly golden. It's to know me all wrong. They would. At every occasion, I'll be ready for the funeral. At every occasion, once more, it's called the funeral.
You know, now you said the name does ring a bell actually down in the gospel. I think I've seen this before. Like.
Nostalgia for me. Like, I remember that video and that song, like, from school.
To show you down for
I'm quite impressed by skateboarders as well, to be honest.
only to show you wrong.
Just think of the amount of injuries you will have got to get through that.
The dead leaves, they are alive. For they know
Unbelievable.
that trees hang their fall. Every occasion I'll be ready for the funeral. Every occasion once more, it's called the funeral. Every occasion, oh, I'm ready for the funeral. Every occasion, oh, 1 billion day funeral.
I'll drop a little bit
We're
there.
walking down the street sometimes, and he can fucking do that.
Just
That
reminded
is-
me of all the boys that I mentioned that grew up, like, sometimes hanging about with him, and I remember them always hanging about the retail parks near my house, like, just trying their damnedest to imitate him, jumping off, like, fucking Tesco trolleys. But wow, 2009. So that would have put me in what?
Can I
See-
mention? Can I say something about the way he jumped over that fence? The busies will not catch him if he decides to bolt.
But see that shop front where he jumped over, way up on the top. He used to work in a bake shop across the street from that. He used to sit outside the shop, eating his lunch, thinking I could make that jump, and then he put it into the video.
Wonder how long it took him to crew the balls to try that one.
Very impressive. though.
Exile, the Scottish people say busies as well. I thought that was
No,
just
I
Scottish.
just said that because you're there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
should just say the busies. We
What's
say
that?
they say the polis,
The Paulus, yeah, I thought you
I don't even say that. We call them the hornies up here.
the hornies.
Manchester
Why?
call them dibble.
Dibble.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's probably better than hornies. You know what I mean? I don't know why we call them that, but yeah, it's just
Busy.
Well, I have a word for them because they've earned it. Assholes.
wankers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would call them over here. We would call them. Depends on what garb they're in. They're the peelers generally. And if we're talking on social media about how many of them are about, because they painted all the meat wagons white, we would say there's 4 ice cream vans going up the road. And whenever they're in the TSG stuff, they're the mutant ninjas.
Do you say meat wagons? Does anyone say meat wagons?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll get. Do you not use that term? Oh, you probably don't have them. Wait, 1 second. I'll get a picture up of a meat wagon.
Have you ever heard of lads talking about that video there? Have you ever heard of a channel on YouTube? It's hard for me to pronounce in my accent. Storror, STORROR. They do that parkour shit. Get on that channel, mate. They've got like 8 million subscribers. No, they do like fucking like fucking somersaults off buildings and jumping off roofs and shit like that. It's fucking unreal. Like,
I'll check it out after the
Unreal.
stream. Yeah.
Right, hold on. I'll get this picture up.
I mean, I used to do skateboarding, but I'd never attempt to jump off things, just dropping the ball down the ramp, A to B stuff, basically. I never had the balls to try any of that. Plus, I broke my arm skateboarding about 10 years ago, and that was the last of it.
you need serious core. People don't realise for that kind of sport like skateboarding, you need core strength. You know, for your balance and that.
Uh-huh.
Tried to do skate.
Right, 1 second. I'm just getting these pictures put up. See what our police fucking scoot about in.
No.
There's one.
Wow.
Something
No,
coming out there.
I lost pretty much a lot of respect for the police as soon as they turned woke and they started with all the pronoun rubbish, especially in Glasgow. Some of them with the Pride Parade, they would put on their name badge with their pronoun, which I thought, oh, give me a break.
Most busies I see nowadays are like 5'2" women. You think who the fuck
Exactly,
are you gonna arrest?
they're midgets. And I remember before I left Denmark, on average, a policeman had to be 5'10" at minimum. Now they're just like 5'6", 5'7", and women are like 5'3", 4".
That's what our police wagons run.
Yeah,
look
we've
like.
got nothing like that over here. Like, fucking
Yeah,
hell.
I've seen those before. The converted Land Rovers.
Yep. Now the skirts around the side are to stop things that go bang getting through underneath them.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is, because they're heavy, they're weighted on one side. So if they're going around a corner, they are unweighted on the outside. If you're turning right, the left side of it's right, and if you get half a breeze block or whatever through and underneath it, and the wheel hits it all top of the lawn over. So that's why they've got the skirts and stuff.
Are these like an everyday thing in Belfast, 42, or like just for special occasions?
See if the police are coming to your house, they turn up on one of these.
Fucking hell.
So those are basically, do you not have normal police vehicles without all the extra additions?
The traffic branch do.
Okay. Because when I think of Belfast, I think of those vehicles with the side plates and the armour because of the IRA.
Yeah. Oh fuck no! See, here's the thing: everybody thinks we've got peace now. We don't. This hasn't changed.
No, I know.
No.
The only difference in the police wagons between the and theirs used to be grey and they painted them white and put those blue and yellow stripes down the side.
Yeah. I just remember the RUC, they had a dark grey colour. Now the PSNI go colourful like that.
Yep. This is the softer looking policing. I'll get you a picture of the. I'll swap that picture out for an RUC one.
It's basically the same vehicle rebranded, right?
Yep. Oh, it's exactly the same vehicle. All of that was painted.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what they did. Share screen window.
No, I definitely agree with you, 42. I know that there's no peace. It's just for the now. It's simmering, but I do know, and I saw the peace lines have gone higher. After one time we spoke, I googled it, and it's confirmed they have been getting higher and higher over the years.
Oh yeah, the peace walls are still a thing. All I did with those meat wagons is they painted them white and put the blue and yellow squares on them.
Yeah.
I follow a few YouTubers in Northern Irish YouTubers, and there's sectarian violence constantly still.
Oh yeah. In fact, I can tell that's in Belfast city centre, and it's pretty close to the street where if you walk down in the wrong clothes, you're probably going to get smacked.
Okay.
Last year, coming up the middle of last year, I went up the road to get a couple of bits and pieces. I can't remember. I can't even remember what it was, but I had intended just to go out on my local road, and went out. I couldn't get what I wanted, so ended up I had to go into the town. Walking through the town and down in this particular part towards Smithfield Market, which would be all nationalist, and I was heading down towards that, and I started to notice it was getting strange looks, because the other thing about if you live in Belfast, you do tend to be. Did I put you out there by mistake?
Nah, my laptop froze.
All right, that's okay. I noticed I was getting funny looks, and then I realised I was wearing a fucking Northern Ireland hoodie, for the football team. It's just a normal blue hoodie, but has a small Northern Ireland Football Association badge on the breast, and that's where I was getting all the strange looks, and I had to turn around and get myself back out of there.
Well, we've got, like, round here, there's trouble with different council estates, and DJ and XR, I'm sure they'll tell you the same thing, but it's a completely different kettle of fish. And no, it's a unique situation in Belfast, in Western Europe.
Yeah.
The thing is, in Glasgow, there is a sectarian element, but compared to, no offence, 42, compared to Belfast, it's actually relatively mild. But I still find it's quite intimidating, because I have been at the receiving end of abuse from people.
But a lot of the issues in Glasgow, funnily enough, they are Irish. Like, they came over here and they're just peddling the same bullshit that they were doing in, Republic of Ireland. There.
But the only thing I'll say about the Glasgow, it's not routinely that you hear of people being kneecapped or shot, but at least that is one thing which missing from it. But
well, it did used to be the knife capital of Europe for a while, but that was when we had Neds. Now you've just got Albanians and fucking Booms.
Well, there's still the Neds, but the knifing, there's still people carry knives, but the thing is, the police tend to know who they are, and they're mostly all in prison or dead from gang fight.
Yeah, do you know what Liverpool were always notorious for? And I don't know why, particularly Stanley knives. There was an old saying, do you know Stanley? And then, I don't know what it was. It was, you just get your face lashed by Stanley knives. That was like the weapon of choice around here.
In Glasgow, the weapon of choice was the open razor. They were called the Razor Gang.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before my time.
But here, Cheeky, what you have to realise about the kneecapping is that's all people. That's people policing their own area.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's they're not dragging people from a different community. Somebody's done something inside a community that hasn't went down too well, and you actually get this is how it's advanced, Scott. You now get a text message
warning you to desist, or you get a visit.
Cease and desist.
No, you get a text message saying be at such and such a place at such and such a time. Right, and you turn up and you either get hit with bats, possibly shot in the leg, whatever. And if you don't turn up at the allocated time, you'll get a worse beating or whatever than you would have got originally.
Hey, 42. Have you heard of these? They've both been murdered now. The Ryan brothers, who were prominent in the IRA, and they both got murdered not long ago.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
I listened to a call-in show about them, and you had loads of nationalists, Irish nationalists, ringing up. They deserve to get fucking killed, mate, because they were scumbags. But you had loads of them ringing up saying, "Nah, they're nice people. They're nice people." Like, no, they clearly fucking weren't. They were involved in drug dealing and that, but the nationalists should just stick up for them no matter what.
There was a couple of people executed not that long ago. I can't remember their names because, to be totally honest with you, whenever they're killing their own, I'm
Just so long as they don't catch innocent people in the crossfire. That's all I say.
Well, they tend not to. Assassin, whenever, like, the guy who, the last guy that got shot was in a parked car, and the person was right beside the car, shooting in through the window. You know, there's none less done with like with a rifle at a long range. It's all done very up close. It's a full on execution, and because of that, they don't tend to get too many people. Although there was the journalist in London that got
was that a woman?
Yep. Can't remember her name. Lauren or something. But she, what her problem was, she was standing too close to the police, and the people who were shooting at the police, and they got her. You know. Although having said that, at least they're not. Whenever they were leaving bombs, they had no clue whatsoever who the fuck they were going to get, because what they do is they put a bomb in a car or whatever and drive it to a place, set a timer on it, and walk away from it, and whoever the fuck's beside it. They have no way of controlling that whatsoever. And the only person that can leave a accurate description of where it is the person that left it there, because you don't know exactly where you're going to get parked, and you'll find that also you don't know the exact speed of the traffic and everything, and who's going to set the timer for how long and whatnot. So while they would phone in 2, possibly 3 bomb warnings, those 3 would be inaccurate, and would get the one correct one from the person that actually left it there. And you've got how long it's taken them to get far enough away from where they are to use a phone box and find a working phone box to phone the Samaritans.
I imagine that's why now they use remote control detonation, I guess.
The only time they use remote control detonation is whenever they're trying to blow up soldiers.
No.
See whenever they're using a remote control to get a army patrol, they'll do that because AMR's just put in Samaritans. So what happens is, if you're running a bombing campaign, you plant the bomb and you phone the Samaritans and you say, this is whatever organization, we have planted a bomb at X Street and our code word is whatever. And then whenever that one goes bang, the next time the phone through and say, we are this organization, we've planted a bomb at X Street and our code word is whatever, they know to actually take action on that because it's a real thing. So they would phone the Samaritans and give their code words through that way, and then something goes bang. But you would find that there'd be 3 or 4 put in for every event, and one of them would be correct and 3 of them would be incorrect. So they have problems
in
with
Warrington by me. They've done the exact same thing in Warrington.
Yeah, it's what they've done with every bomb since they started bombing. That's just their standard operating procedure. And
Can I just say quick there, Ian Marr, who's just commented, Marzi, lad, I'll message you tomorrow on Telegram. I want you on my stream if you will, lad. Sorry, carry on.
Yep, that's how all that was done. It was an absolute fucking shit show.
Yeah.
And now they're in the government.
Yep.
You know that ex-girlfriend I was telling you about from County Tyrone?
Yeah.
Being very pro-nationalist. She made a comment once, and because That's basically why we broke up. She was all for the bombing and the shooting, so long as it was the right people. And when I said to her, well, you do realise, Christina, that a lot of these bombs and killings, they end up hitting the wrong people because a bomb is indiscriminate. And she said, yeah, well, so what? I said, no, so what? Nothing. Those are people's fathers, husbands, and brothers that are dying, mostly soldiers and policemen. But it didn't seem to register with her that that's just bloody murder, and it's still somebody's son, husband, and brother being killed.
I've found, and I know 42 will disagree, and I know I'm a bit biased, they're very extremist, these Irish nationalists. I've got a mate, a girl, who lived in Glasgow for a while, and her boyfriend was like hardcore, like fucking IRA type Irish nationalist. And he had a custody battle with the kids. And so she just ended up bringing up all these mental things that he used to say. Because he used to say the same things, I guess, so what, fuck it, just blow them all up. And she ended up getting custody in the end.
Well, actually, I'm going to say she's on the right thing, because that's not a good environment for that child.
Exactly,
yeah.
Yeah, I will say, just a side note though, like, because I'm starting to think that the SNP are heading the same way. How the fuck can you be an Irish nationalist at this point? When, like, okay, make the argument that you want to be independent away from the UK, but like they've re-entered the European Union, right? They're being swamped by Africans and Asians on an alarming rate, but yet they're still proud and national. I don't get that. Like, you would think that at some point there'd be a reality check where they'll go, "What have we done?" But they don't. They don't give a shit.
You know what, DJ? It will be too late once they realise the bullshit that is coming out. It'll be too late. There will be a minority, a hated minority.
I'm saying, like, they got what they wanted. They got their independence, but now they're in the European Union. Like, but to me, it doesn't compute. But then to see the demography changing at such a rapid pace over the course of the past two decades.
Mate, in England, Scousers are the worst for it. You're not getting any worse than Scousers for that kind of attitude.
I just don't get it. How can you be it contradicts the concept of being a nationalist.
Because they're not actually Irish nationalists, they're communists.
Aye, they're corrupt. But like, there's got to be some amongst the ranks that are legitimate nationalists.
Yes, but
stopping them and go, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like,
yes, but here's the thing: if you disagree with the people at the top, that's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
It's amazing how by the time that they have got far enough into it that they realize exactly what's happening, they're also far enough in that they're not allowed to leave.
Yeah, because they know too much.
Yeah, because by the way, you don't leave these organizations.
No. Yeah, that's
it's like the mafia. You don't leave; you're there for life.
There are quite a few people on the union side that got involved with paramilitaries and became born again Christians. And while they're not active members, they still pay dues.
Right.
And they have got out on the basis of, I've become a born-again Christian, I don't believe in violence, blah, blah, blah. This is my thing. Are you willing to still pay your dues? Yes, I am. That's okay. Off you go. Go live your life. Now, obviously, I have no clue how that works on the other side because it's not my community. I don't know if they have the same out, but I will say that
Alexander's just said there, mate. You've just hit it. That it's exactly like the mafia. That's exactly what it's like. Cosa Nostra.
Yeah. Oh fuck! It's a mafia with a different name. Make no mistake about that.
The same principle. You don't leave. If you leave, we kill you. That's essentially what they're saying.
The only way you leave is in a box.
You would think they would start to lose support, like, over time, because that's what I don't understand about Scotland. It's going the exact same way. Hijack nationalism, cuckery. There's like, they get branded as nationalists, which I find fucking embarrassing and laughable. But like, there's got to be people amongst the SNP's ranks, whether they're grassroots activists or just normal everyday people, who classify themselves as Scottish nationalists who have to be standing there and going, what the fuck is happening here? But I don't need it. I seem to be a very I'm a legitimate Scottish nationalist in terms of, in an idealistic world, I'd want Scotland to be independent, etc., etc. I'm baffled by what's happening in Scotland.
Well, you know what, DJ? I actually consider you a proper Scottish nationalist, not these pseudo nationalists, because you actually talk and advocate for genuine good things, and you want all this and that, where the others just want the EU. They see no further than European integration and freedom of movement. At least you advocate for genuine, legitimate things which would actually benefit Scotland, in talking like the way an SNP would 50 years ago.
Yeah, there's only one SNP, ex-SNP member that I would actually say that I like. There's a guy called Jim Sillars. And he's like me. I don't know his views on demography and whatnot, admittedly, but you can't agree on everything. But he's the only one who consistently calls out the SNP in their shit and says that it's absolutely nonsensical to leave the UK to join the European Union. He thinks it's odious what the SNP are doing in terms of treating it like a double referendum. So if Scotland votes for independence, then that's a vote to rejoin the EU. There's no referendum at a later date to decide whether or not we rejoin the EU or not. No.
The SNP just seem to be sticking it to the English.
No, it's all about, this is the misconception of what's going on in Scotland, though, and this is the fault of the media and whatnot. The assumption is for outsiders that the SNP will just do whatever is opposite to what Westminster does, but it's not the case at all, because if you look at their antics post-Brexit, like the EU referendum, they tried everything within their power to stop that referendum result being acted upon. Had they been successful, then the SNP would be happily and content part of the United Kingdom, because we would be in the EU. It's always been about the EU.
But don't forget, DJ, I think you've forgotten a lot of SNP supporters have become disillusioned, and that's why they're joining the Alba party. Not that they're any good, because to me they're two cheeks of the same asshole, but it's a start, I suppose, that they're even calling out Sturgeon's bullshittery. And in fact, I kid you not, earlier, the start of this year, there was a gathering of about a couple of hundred SNP supporters with flags shouting, Nicola out, Nicola out. Because some people, believe it or not, have had their wake-up call. I mean, I don't think they're all naive. I'm sure many of them are started to wake up and smell the coffee now that the SNP are full of shit. That's just my take.
Have any of us noticed that the Welsh have become quite infected with all this bullshittery?
That's the exact same thing. Wales has actually got it worse, in the sense that Labour,
it's a smaller country.
Yeah, well, there's that. But you've got Labour, who are obviously in charge effectively of Wales. But if Labour get ousted, who's going to replace them? Well, it's going to be that Plaid Cymru or whatever they're called, who are absolutely identical to the SNP. So they are pretty fucked. And there's talks now of Labour and Plaid Cymru joining forces. So I don't know. I'll be honest, my theory is it's still the same theory I've had for quite a few years, that I think Brexit was allowed to happen purely because it was laying the foundations for the breakup of the UK, which will then in turn mean in time we all rejoin the European Union as quote unquote independent countries. Within a union, and that seems to be the trajectory that we're on, because if you think about it, like SNP, you got Sinn Féin, and you've got Plaid Cymru / Labour in Wales. Like, Westminster have got the ability to shut that shit down right now and get rid of Holyrood or ban this bullshit. They won't do that. They allow this shit to go on. The media never call the SNP out in a Scottish context. They're allowed to run rampant, revising history and lying and being complete hypocrites. The wet white politicians who are supposed to be the opposition never do their job. They just allow their shit to fester.
The SNP barely get reported on down here, to be honest.
Well,
I don't hear much about them. The most I hear about them is obviously from you talking about them.
It just pisses me. Even earlier on, I was watching something on there's the Question Time down in England, but there's a Scottish version up here called Debate Night. And I was watching it earlier on, and I was on the verge of making a video because it's just the same talking points all the time regarding independence. And this woman that she's just caught. They just literally regurgitate verbatim what Sturgeon says. So she's sitting there, and the whole crowd started clapping because she's like, "No Tory should be able to tell Scotland what it decides to do in its future. It's up to the people of Scotland." And I was sitting there screaming at my laptop, like, "Oh well, that's all very well and good, but are we not going to address, as I mentioned already, that in the event of Scotland winning this alleged independence referendum, there is not a secondary vote to decide whether or not we go back in the EU. So effectively, the SNP have taken that choice away from you. They're determining your fucking future. It's a choice between the UK and the EU. No, we won't talk about that. No, we will just focus on browbeating the Tories and placing ourselves on a pedestal." These are the sort of things that the opposition should be calling them
What
out
do
for.
you think then, Exiled and
They're all-
DJ? Do you think you're going to get independence and end up?
Yes.
What do you think? Do you?
I was going to answer that a minute ago. I think we all have to face facts, gentlemen. Sooner or later, the SNP are going to get what they want. They're going to get their independence, and for a short while, Scotland will be independent before it's pulled back into the EU. And I will say right now, I get stealing her words, against mine, DJ, and many other proper nationalists will. None of us would have voted for that. So that's what the reality is. And the same with Northern Ireland. It's going to eventually join the South. I just might as well not beat about the bush. It's the truth.
Here's two issues. One is an independent Scotland does not meet the financial criteria for getting into the European Union.
But here's the thing,
one
though.
way or the other. They'll still
day,
manage to get in.
They will. I don't think they'll get in. Like,
back in the day, the SNP they never ruled out handing over our fishing industry to the European Union as a means to sort of fast track our way back into the EU, right?
Yeah.
Now you fast forward to where we're at now, and they do not stop bragging about all of our renewable energy resources. Do you not think they're just going to hand all that to the EU? That's how they're going to get in. Well, of course, that's how
Can
they're
I
going to
actually
get in.
just add there, gentlemen? The fact is, how Scotland will get in is because remember when poorer European countries became members, Slovakia, Bulgaria, these countries are poor countries compared to Scotland. So I don't see why Scotland would be rejected. They will get in one way or the other. Let's just admit it.
Yeah.
And the other one is, does anybody have the stomach for the war that's going to happen if Northern Ireland gets forced into the Republic of Ireland? Because I'm pretty sure the people down south don't.
I'm not too sure.
I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but I think what's eventually going to happen is Sinn Féin will start to gain, the majority support, because there's not that many people in your country. There's only about 1.5 million.
Yeah.
Give that a couple of decades, and my God, the tables could turn quite easily.
Well, actually,
I'm not too sure on the Ireland and Northern Irish issue, but what the lads have just said there about Scotland, I think is spot on. Like.
Here's the main reason that for a fact that Scotland is going to end up independent. The SNP have spent years conflating independence with EU membership. So now people that want independence and people that want to rejoin the European Union are forced to vote the same way. That's an instant, that's an automatic win. You've got two different sectors of the public forced to vote for independence because half of them may very well want independence but no EU, but they have to vote that way anyway. And then you've got the Ramoners. So
the thing is, I will continue to vote against independence, even it's not much, but I will do it. I just wanted to say regarding United Ireland, I wrote to 42 earlier on about something that came to my attention in Glasgow. I won't talk about it on the live stream, but to me, it's concerning.
Was there any other protests going on in that area?
Yes, there was. I didn't say too much in the message to you, but yeah, apparently there was a small standoff.
Right. What's happened is one set of people have attempted to protest somewhere where they were really not wanted to be protesting, and people turned up to make sure it didn't happen.
Well, the thing was, the police came, not in full riot gear, but there was enough police there to, you could say, would make Glasgow city centre the safest city in Europe. But what I'm concerned about is what's going to happen from now if this continues.
Well, here's what... Right. Here's what's happened. A bunch of people have decided that we're going to protest near or at war memorials,
Yeah,
particularly in November.
Santa.
Right, okay. And another bunch of people turned up and said that's not going to happen. Now, what you will notice is that in London, whenever this all happened, the police were quite ineffective in making sure that no trouble happened. Because of who it was turned up, the
Yeah.
police became very effective in making sure that there was no clashes. I think that's a win.
Well,
If you think about it that way.
yeah. Well, happily, nothing major happened. Just a shouty match between the two groups. But the person I heard it from, again, I would rather tell you in private. 42,
Yeah.
just a bit more. There's only so much I will
Yeah.
divulge on a stream.
Well, to be honest with you, I know absolutely nothing about this event. I've only heard about it today. I haven't looked into it at all. But
Yeah.
I'm taking a guess at probably what's happened.
Yeah, well, I think it's worrying times, and even more so if the SNP gain momentum, and as we now know, they want to ally themselves with Sinn Féin. To me, I fear it's worrying times ahead.
Mhm.
I think it's maybe something to do with it. I don't know. I've not got all the details, but
I
just
don't
say I'm
know what you're
concerned.
talking about, but probably not, to be honest. I mean, yeah, Sturgeon did come out at the start when Sinn Féin won by like 1 fucking point or something, not local elections, but they've not really had, as far as I'm aware anyway, they've not really had much interaction since. I still think what she did though was in very bad taste to come out and congratulate them and whatnot, but
Yeah.
I don't think.
Do you know what's funny? Do you know, we were talking about the Plaid Cymru party in Wales. I've heard a few people say, obviously the SNP are bad, but Plaid Cymru when Queen Elizabeth died recently, they did it like were respectful towards her, and noticeably the SNP were not. So Plaid Cymru are a bit less bad than them.
What I did notice about Sturgeon, whenever the Queen died, she gave a speech and she talked about. No, it wasn't actually about that. It was she did a speech recently about independent Scotland and whatnot, and she said something to the effect of, "We will always have a special relationship with the English, the Welsh, and the people on the island of Ireland," which ticked off my box because, yeah,
No mention of
she's-
Ulster.
no mention of Northern Ireland. They won't use the word Northern Ireland, which is what Sinn Féin do, and it also puts us in a bucket along with the Republic. And she really doesn't. She really doesn't know how.
It annoys me that people don't understand the history of Ulster. It really fucking irritates me.
Yeah, I'm actually guilty of that. I keep miscalling it Northern Ireland. I should really be calling it Ulster. It's
actually,
unintentional.
To be totally correct, Northern Ireland is the name of the country. Ulster is a province which has 9 counties. Although Ulster is used to refer to the 6th county Northern Ireland because we lost 3 whenever they drew the line on the map. Either of those names are fine, honestly.
Okay.
Northern Ireland. People-wise, I mean, like the people who have been there. So it's like, so people just seen it because it's just one island. So they think, oh, everyone's the same. But no, they've had these people in this area of Ulster who are specific people, and they're not Irish.
And the other thing is, we were here first.
Exactly.
It's the Celts that arrived from Central Europe and reside down south are a totally different people. But
a lot of Ulster's Scottish as well, you know.
There has always been a connection between the people of Ulster and the people of Scotland. That's just always been. The wee drop of water between Ulster and Scotland is very small. They've traded going back forever. They're shared people have intermarried. That's all common. But see the likes of Sir Nicola Sturgeon, whenever she's saying stuff like that, whenever everybody is pushing for the border in the Irish Sea and keeping Northern Ireland in the European Union, they really don't understand the damage that they're doing. And we're not that far away from a point where things in Dublin start to go boom. Because
Say you look on the map, where I am, Liverpool, obviously, if you look on the map, obviously we've got the Irish Sea right there to the west of us. If you look at the distance between Northern Ireland, mainland, and Scotland, it's so tiny. It's a
like
lot
40
smaller than the
miles or
distance
something.
between Liverpool to there.
I think it's about 40 miles of crossing. That's very small.
Yeah.
Oh, there's people go from Northern Ireland to Scotland in jet skis.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a distance.
But yeah, I will say though, I've always thought that they've done that on purpose. Like the European Union and Westminster both use Northern Ireland as a scapegoat, as a means
Yeah.
to sort of prolong.
Yeah, but that hard border nonsense.
Yeah.
No, well,
Yeah.
the problem with the border is the IRA came out and said that they would cause violence if there was a border, which it's only a fucking customs border. It's not going to be checkpoints and all. It's all done electronically. It makes fuck all difference. But the IRA came out and said that they would use violence if Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland were separated. But nobody seems to have countered into it that the way they're going now is going to cause violence on the Unionist side.
It's
'Cause-
intentional, isn't it?
Yeah, and we are from the.
They know you're
from,
a powder keg there, so they're just trying to stir it up as much as they can, I think.
No, well, I honestly don't think that they considered it. I think that they've spent the last 20 years from the peace process only worrying about violence coming from one side, and we've now hit a point that is a straw to break a camel's back and like a powder keg, and they're only starting to consider that now.
Yeah, but the thing is, they should have considered that before they put pen to paper. They're just always going around with a reckless attitude of, oh, everything will be fine. And they never really consider the long-term implications. Again, that's typical politicians everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, 42, I forgot to mention, about a year ago, I was in Dublin waiting for my flight back to Glasgow from Germany. And I got speaking to a Garda who he was on his break outside the airport. And I don't know how, but when we talked about Ireland and then a united, and you know what he said? He said, yeah, the thing is, there are many Irish people want a united Ireland, but a lot of Irish citizens do not, he said. When he said that's on both sides, not everybody is in favour because they know there could be potential problems, consequences, and he even said not even ruling out another civil war. And I thought, well, that was concerning when I heard that. So I thought, well, that was new to me because I assumed they were all in favour of a united Ireland, but apparently not.
No, there are quite a few people down south that want nothing to do with Northern Ireland. And there's also quite a few that want nothing to do with the supposedly Irish people in Northern Ireland, because like what DJ was saying earlier about the Scottish people in America being more in the Highland Games and being more entrenched Scottish with their thing, and the way we were talking about the people coming from overseas to Britain and being more into their culture from back home that they never actually knew because they're mourning a culture that they never had.
Yeah.
The Irish people in Northern Ireland are more Irish than the Irish people in the Republic of Ireland, and they're more hardline. And I don't think they'll get on too well.
No,
Very
it's
interesting, though.
just
Very
problems.
interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Now, this is what I like with your streams, 42. I like to hear it from the horse's mouth, because obviously I don't know as much about it like you do because you live there. But it's always good to hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
But and the other thing I will say is, there's nobody that lives where I live that has radically different opinions to me on all this.
Yeah.
It's now what exactly is going on in other communities and other working class areas. I can't be sure, but what's going on in the nationalist communities doesn't seem very good. The whole thing with the football, the women's football team, singing up the
Yeah, do you remember I sent you that thing the other day? And they
Yeah.
were saying, yeah, that was disgraceful.
There's currently a dig going on in the Republic of Ireland. They're digging up a bog, trying to find the body of a 18-year-old that was abducted about 1972, tortured, murdered, and buried in the bog. They're trying to find him. And I thought that the women from that football team should have been sent onto that dig to have a look at the reality of what it is we're supporting, because I think that part of the problem is, if you grew up in the Republic of Ireland, you seen nothing of what was happening.
Exactly.
Because
they lived a sheltered life. And I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. The war didn't affect them.
Yeah, that's true.
The clip I sent you of that, mate, was just, I'm sorry to say, but what extra annoyed me, it was a black woman, a black Irish woman, if you can get a black Irish woman saying it. She was like, oh, they were just kids and it doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh yeah, but get them to sing God Save the Queen or something, it'd be a different fucking story.
But you know what, Toffee, they should have known better. It's common knowledge that there are certain songs and words which are controversial and can really inflame. They should have known better. Shame on them.
Not only them, their coaching staff should have knew, because it seemed like that was normally what happened inside that change room after the one important match.
That was disgraceful. Really disgraceful.
The coaching staff should have had words long before that.
Yeah, what
it
should have
nowhere near on the same level. I know it's not, but so as a Liverpool fan, U42, it's like going to Anfield and start shouting Hillsborough stuff. It's like, yeah, don't be saying that kind of shit, or it's very inflaming. Obviously, it's nowhere near on the same level.
No, but you know what? This should have been done in that changing room video. What should have come was a voice off camera shouting, hey, girls, enough. There should have been somebody putting a bit of order there. But no, it was encouraged. No one was there.
No, that's because it was just normal. It's just what they do. The only thing that happened different that day to any other time they have an important match that the win is it got leaked.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking beams, by the way. Sorry. Look, I just found something that's pissed me off. It's only 40 seconds long. I'm just going to share my screen. I am fucking sick of beams.
Can I just quickly say
Scottish accents dictating what should happen in the future of my country. Fuck off. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit whether you were born here or not. This is the problem. No, it's like the problem is you let in these people, and and the minute they spawn a child, then they've got a claim to this land the same as I do. That's why you need to close the borders now and stop this shit. Because this lassie, this is Mrs. Iron Brew woman, I'm Scottish because I was born here. What? No, you're not. I'm sorry. Take a DNA test, but here she is in Westminster moaning.
Before you start that video, DJ, can I just say, like that Iron Brew girl, no matter how many offspring she has, they're not ethnically Scottish. And the same for that black woman in Ireland. She's not ethnically Irish. There, I've just said my piece. So carry on.
Right, Ali, I've got my screen shared. I'll just wait for you.
Right, right, there it is.
Right.
Always voted. Westminster is broken, and this isn't limited to the Tories. The Labour Party My grandfather, my grandfather, always voted for the Labour Party. Yet recently we heard from their
Of
leader
course, they let you in.
difference essentially on immigration between them two. That is shameful. That's not something to be proud of. It's
Isn't
disgrace.
it that cook? Yeah,
I am
yeah.
so proud.
Listen to all the cucks agreeing with her.
You've had your time to speak. You can intervene. It's exactly what he said. It's exactly what he said. And I am so proud of the rejection from these benches of the hostile and xenophobic refugee and
You can't even say xenophobic.
from that side of the House. Westminster is
And did you hear
How
all
is
the
that not
cucks
even
agreeing with
normally
her?
just that visually abhorrent? It's
Just
baffles
puts
me.
my fucking tits in because she's not the only one that says that. They always do this. Like, I'm the child of an immigrant, and they'll attack like some of the black or brown Tories that claim that they're going to put things into place to halt immigration. It never happens, of course, but then you'll hear
You had a
these.
Hindu and a Muslim arguing in Parliament the other day about British policies. Like, what the fuck? I can hear me granddad spinning in his grave.
Oh, aye, same with mine. But like,
Do you know as well what was-
they turn around and they say, like Hamza Yusuf did it a few years ago, and now this lassie continues to do it all the time in Parliament. She said, you heard her make reference to it there, that her granddad was an immigrant type of thing. But they say this as if because they're the children of immigrants, therefore we should be letting in other people because or they'll attack the brown and black Tories by saying, well, you're the child of an immigrant too. It's disgraceful that you're not letting in other immigrants. Like, what the fuck is this? Who are you?
DJ, do you know all it is? Advocating for their own kin,
Exactly,
their own
that is
people.
all it is. But they
That's it.
masquerade it behind this
That's
fucking
exactly what
facade
they're
of,
doing.
I'm proud of the SNP. I'm proud of our benches because we cack and we want open borders. Well, of course,
These people are a Trojan horse, and then once they get higher numbers, watch how quick they turn on us and start going along with their own people.
Because they're already putting things into place now to try and accelerate, all the amount of positions of power that they hold with this fucking con job of proportionate representation.
Yeah.
That is absolutely toxic. 4% of the population is non-white. Well, we need 4% of Parliament to be non-white then. Okay, that's fine. Well, it's not fine, but you know what I mean? It doesn't sound that bad now, but let's, go 20 years into the future when it's 20% non-white. Does that mean Parliament has to be? Yes, it does mean that. So you can see that where that's going to lead to. It's going to lead to a point where, by law, there's going to have to be more BAMEs in Parliament. And yet, people in this country still put the pronouns in the bios, put the Ukraine flags in the fucking Twitter handles, and sing "Kumbaya" with their saltire, desecrated saltire flags with the EU stars all around it. I mean, it's fucking hard.
Do you know what? I would hope that something gives before 20 years is up. But the way things are going right now, if it continues, we're going to see some serious shit kicking off in Scotland. Because these people are going to be the majority in Parliament. Maybe not in population, but in parliamentary debates, they will be the majority.
Well, I mean, the SNP are not going to be ousted. It's just not happening. So,
I think they will.
The Parliament's full away.
I think they will. But they won't be out. But by the time they leave, they will have caused so much damage that it won't make any difference who's in, because they'll all be singing from the same hymn sheet.
Well, that's the thing. You can't go. That's the thing in politics. You never go back from it. You only go forward. None of the things that they put into place will be reversed.
I know what we need, but I won't say it on a stream. I know the solution, but I'm not going to say it here.
In Minecraft.
I don't want to nuke 42's channel.
Here, lads, listen to this from Raymond Paper. In 1971, I woke up in my bed screaming, "My leg, my leg." 2 hours later, the MPs were at the door telling my mum, my dad was shot in Dungannon. Turns out he was hitting the leg. That is freaky.
Raymond Piper from the Republic, isn't he? Or is he? Is it the same guy? I know there's a based guy from.
No, I don't think he's from the Republic, but his dad was in the British Army.
All right. There's a guy on here that you were talking about who's from the Republic. I can't think who it is.
I know that Dragon Energy guy.
Or Art Rocks.
Dragon Energy is a very questionable character. I'll say no more on that front. Like, part on edge of the road.
Oh, yeah. Rory Herbert Took my caravan to a women's rugby tournament to provide them with a meeting point. They slept in their own tents.
Fucking
I
hell,
have to,
Rory.
have to say, some of the nighttime noises were interesting.
Huh.
Rory's a dirty get. I thought you were a gentleman, Rory.
So, Lord Rory.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be better off at a hockey tournament.
Just that comment there, though. Probably there's probably a lot of people in Inverness who can relate to that story. When I had my fun one year at a festival, I'll say no more. Let's just say there was shit getting thrown at my tent. Tell me to shut the fuck up. Oh, don't worry. The joys of teenage.
Teenage kicks.
Oh yeah, teenage fumbles is what I meant to say. I don't
Yeah.
know my face on narcotics, so that might have had something to do with it. Like I was about 15, but you know.
Right. Here, lads, it's coming up to it's 2:30 in the morning. We've been going for 3 hours. I'm thinking about sort of wrapping this up in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Anything you just want to talk about?
Just having a wee look from it because obviously my stream tomorrow I've got one subject matter, so I'm just having a wee look from my Telegram see if there's anything of relevance.
Have you got on tomorrow, DJ? Didn't you say you had a guest?
I've got
You
Bruce
were
Scott on. He's a regular on UK column. He's in the chat, like my Telegram chat, like, but he's quite a big brain, but he's one of the only people who's called out critical race theory stuff since I started doing it. And he's got quite a lot of pull on Twitter and that, so I think it'll be a good conversation, get his perspective from that. And I mean,
Got a big brain talking with you and Sensen. That should be fun.
I just sit back and let them. Because Sensen doesn't shut the fuck up anyway half the time. So I'll let them two go at it, and I'll just sit back and feel sorry for myself if I'm still ill. It should be good. Like, I'm having a wee gander here. I posted a lot of shit on my fucking Telegram today. You know what I'm saying?
Here, Toffee, when's your Monday night spectaculars due for starting?
I've wiped my channel because I'm gonna start doing because no one's got a Monday night slot, so I'm gonna start doing it every Monday now. I'm hoping I'll message him. I've just said there. I'll message him on Telegram. Ian Marr said he'll come on. Sensen said he'll come on, but if I can't get a guest, I'm good at rambling, aren't I? So if I can't get a guest, I'll just chat it away. But yeah, it'll be like 7 o'clock every Monday from now on.
Excellent. Viking, what's going on with you, chum?
Oh, sorry, Viking as well. If you would like to come on, I'd like to get you on as well, mate. And DJ, and you, obviously.
As I said earlier, I'd be up for chatting, but I would need to obviously work on some stuff to talk about. But if I get an idea what you're talking about, I'll just go with the flow and then fly by the seat of my pants, so to speak. But yeah, I'm sure I'll find something to contribute.
It's not really that much in terms of an interesting discussion point, but the only thing really of relevance that I want to hear what you have to say on is Greta Thunberg. Thunberg, came out the other day and said that it's time to transform the West's oppressive and racist capitalist system. The activist claims that the world's current normal, dictated by the people in power, has caused the climate breakdown. So she's effectively gone full commie now. Her handlers have instructed her to do so, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
Did she not mention white people particularly? I'm sure I heard her mention white people.
They've done that before.
They did. Anything to have a dig at her own people. And you know what else she said? How dare you?
How dare you?
Well, it doesn't sound quite like that anymore now that her voice is broken, you know what I mean?
She's an adult and they purposely dress her up like a child, her little weird handlers. She's an adult, like.
Well, here's the thing. What happens whenever she gets her boyfriend and finds out the cock comes in single-use plastic?
Don't tell me she's got a fucking boyfriend. Surely no.
No, but she will have, because I mean, like, she's got to be 19, 20.
She's bound to attract some douchebag cuck who will find her attractive with what she says and will agree with her in order to get his nookie.
Yeah,
fuck that. I'd rather shag a bin.
But porn is the alternative.
Shag a boot.
Yeah, but what's she going to do about the single-use plastic that her cock comes in?
going to kick up a stink.
Well, you
Hell
know,
no.
she could strike lucky and get with a bit of back Johnny, you know what I mean? Somebody
Or alternatively, gentlemen, maybe she prefers mint. Maybe she's a bean flicker.
She does, yeah. She gives that impression. Like,
yeah,
Probably
I'd
likes
probably
bean
argue that
flickers.
the case to be fair. That said, she looks more like an insult to me.
Thing is, that's a word I stole from Sensum. A bean flicker.
Yeah, politically correct, I suppose.
Bean flicker.
But yeah, just on that note, though, I find that it's been that way for some time. Like, it's pretty obvious that the people, you know, behind the scenes or whatnot that pushed us climate bullshit, it's deliberately done to sort of destabilize just white nations. You know, so now you've got this little Mongol, Greta Thunberg, just coming out and saying it as it is. Thanks for telling us what we already knew, you know? I mean, what the fuck's any of that got to do with stopping the so-called climate catastrophe? You know, let's just overthrow your systems and replace it all with social justice, climate justice, gender justice, redistribute all your wealth.
Look into her parents' background. Her parents are quite questionable people. Quite powerful people.
Like the whole thing, all the people she's being photographed with, like Al Gore, who's that guy? He was running for the American presidency. Last time around the wee Jew guy. What's his fucking name? Oh no! I know you mean. He's like a multi-millionaire, but he didn't get very far in the race, admittedly. But you know, a questionable character. But yeah, I mean, it's been that. It's even Extinction Rebellion. Like one of the founders of Extinction Rebellion, at one point a few years back, made out that a part of tackling the climate crisis was eradicating the toxicity that Europeans had spread around the world and all this shit. It's just anti-white bullshit. Dressed up as fighting the so-called climate catastrophe.
Every single time, as they say.
But she never targets non-whites. Have you noticed?
No, well, they never go after China and whatnot, you know. And nobody ever addresses the elephant in the room either, that all the alleged hard work they're doing, and then a volcano happens, and boom, all that hard work's gone. But we can't talk about that. Shh. You know, all this shit. But for some reason, it flies as truth. And now we've all got COP. Is it not next week? COP 27. So we're going to have all these dickheads flying in their CO2 emitting planes to talk to us all about why CO2 is bad for the planet.
Yeah, on private jets.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Nicola Sturgeon's going, really buzzing for that. Wonder what colour her fucking hair gel will be this time. She dyed her hair last time. Really excited for that.
It's just all total and utter madness. There's none of it. There's none of it backed by actual, real, proper science. And in Colorado, Glacier National Park, somebody got the job of going around and taking down all the signs. A couple of years ago, it said this glacier will have disappeared by 2020 due to global warming. Somebody had to go up and take all the signs down because it's still there.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
Just a bit. This is what they always do. Every fucking year is the same. As I mentioned in the stream I did with Sensum last week. Like what was it in 2020? They were running about pointing to orchestrated fires in Australia and California where people were well, part of it was they banned, you know, the controlled fires in Australia, but then people were also caught starting fires on purpose. These climate activists, several people were arrested for arson. Same thing in California. Did you hear anything about that from the likes of the United Nations or Nicola Sturgeon, etc.? No, you just got B-roll footage of burning bushes and all
the amount of wildlife in Australia that died because of that, like pure koala bears and kangaroos and that.
Aye, and it was fucking arson. And partly arson and partly malpractice in the sense that they banned, you know, controlled fires.
Yep.
But no, it's
great, lads. I'm going to rack up a true song. Do a quick root round. Thanks everybody very much for coming on, by the way. Toffee, actually, fucking DJ. Really nice to have you on. Great conversation. Toffee.
Yeah, nice to speak to you as always, lads. As I said, Monday night, I'll start sorting out getting streams and that. Always good to speak to you. It's a comfort to know that there's other like-minded people out there. It really is.
Cheeky Exile Viking.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Yeah, just I say it's always a pleasure to come on and chat with like-minded, as Toffee says, and again, thanks for having me on.
Lovely. DJ?
Well, you might very well see a video from me because I'm pissed off with that babe. To be honest, I'm wide awake, but
Excellent.
don't know, maybe. I mean, it's either that or I fucking start up a live stream myself. I'm not doing that this time. But it's Bloody Dogs. Hopefully I feel better for tonight because I'm looking forward to that stream. So, adios, amigos.
Adios.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've got a bit of an outro song.
Good night, lads.
New tune. Set up. It is.
You need pathetic lies. I feel you won't find them here. Hit the rack, Joe. Tell us what you know. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hit the rack, Joe. You're about to get ratioed. Shake your pants, Joe. Shake the hand of the ghost. You owe a grown up update toe. Hit the rack, Joe. That's enough for your touch and go. You keep saying unity and healing, and winters of severe illness and death. Disputes are made forgotten by hack jobs and the feds. Now what do you know? These roots have all forgotten what you said. The violent crime, you know that ain't real. The food and gas price, you know that ain't real. You know that ain't real. But the whole world had a few words and we confirm that we are being screwed.
Boom.
The minute you got what you want, I could see there'd be a mass extinction for being misgendered. You ain't black and nor am I, but one of us is fascist and the other's alright. Whatever you like, Commandant, I won't stop the clock at any degree. Let's go, brothers! On anything you need. In time we'll get you, pedos on the rack. You're all delusional if you think you're innocent. It's indisputable and your fate is imminent. When you try to talk your way out of belligerence, well, it's your funeral. You know the thing, let me lick your follicles. Come on, man, true international prisoner. It's your party and nobody wants you. Nobody prompts you. No one responds to you. You look right through. You get fucked up on glue. It's a jumble. You cried and crumble. The walls are closing in. So instigate yours as you wait for the adrenal codes to kick in. Okay, go the fuck away. You see between all human beings. It makes you sad to have failed your task, and you scream underneath. So you are the world commander-in-chief, but you're only the first.
Good night, everybody. God bless. I've been 42. You lot in the chat have been fucking awesome as usual. Thank you very much. Good night, and see you all next week. Goodbye.